Morning, team. Morning, everyone. Sorry, running slightly behind here. Let's get all of this up. All right. Hopefully, some of you have caught some nice moves overnight. If you were prepared for Globex, it actually offered some nice liquidity grabs. As you can see on the daily, everything we talked about last week, all right? We're trading from one side of the bowl to the other side of the bowl. No acceptance above, no acceptance below. No surprise there either. Okay, these are our two standard deviations. All right, top Bollinger Band on the daily, two standard deviations. We came up here, what was this? Wednesday, Thursday last week. Couldn't close outside, failed back to the mean, failed the mean overnight, and all the way back down to the lower bottom Bollinger Band, right? Everything we talk about all the time. How many times do we go over this? Many, many times, basically every time I open the chart. All right, so the rotation has completed. We have found a bid of this and we have an undercut. All right, the key is here, this level here, because this created this sort of swing into this. If we start getting stuck under here this week, all right, if we start building liquidity down here around the sort of 300s, down to the 25,000s, 300-point range here. If we build liquidity down here, all right, later in the week and snap, then I would assume we are then going to drive lower. We're not seeing that yet. It might well build out, folks, right? It's a Monday morning and we're not open yet. So let's just see how we go. We've got to be somewhat careful of these key levels. You can see we're going straight back into here again with no change. And why has it lost my volume? There we go. So big shelf here off the last 12 months comes into 671 and then over that into 865. So 670 is pretty big level. 670 is a pretty big level. All right, moving down into the hourlies. Make sure you guys can see this. I'm just going to make this one a little bit bigger so you can see it. All right, so previous week profile right here. What do we just say? 670s is a pretty big level. That will kind of line up with this old point of control. So we know that this level in here, 670s into 700 is huge. If we're going to reclaim previous week's value, we're driving up into it already. All right, there's previous week's value, previous day above here. We can get rid of that in a moment once we go over it. So the big test now is, do we find acceptance? All right, do we find acceptance back above these 600s? All right, is this a look below into this gray box that finds a bid, and do we find acceptance back above here? If we find acceptance back above the 600s, all right, then we are going to see a rotation. This will be a failed breakdown underneath previous week's value, a hold of the week before, and then we would expect a rotation up to 700s. And if it gets through that, like we said, that's a massive shelf, then maybe up to 800s. The other option is, of course, they reject this, that they say, hey, no, we're not going back inside last week's value. That was actually too expensive. We don't think there's any fair value up there, and we're going to drive down. Obviously, these are naked points of control, all right? Previous day, previous week, we haven't tested that yet. We do expect that to get tested within the first 2 days. So maybe we see something like this, and then it has to make its mind up which way it's going. Very possible. So this is what I'm looking for this morning. I want to see how we react here into the edge of previous day and previous week. If we reclaim it, then I'm waiting to see how we act here into 700s and 800s. They've made it quite easy. They've made it pretty easy. 700 and 800, 850. They've made it the whole numbers. So over 6, maybe 7. Over 7, 8, 850. If we reject 7, back to 6. And if we reject 6, then back into these lows. All right, so they're making it somewhat easy for us. If we move up to what we did in Globex, I'm going to zoom in here, make sure you can see it all. There we go. Right, here's previous days, or Friday. We can call this Friday. Friday's value, you can see that we rotated all through Friday. All right, rejecting the 20-day, and we started to get a gap overnight. So this was the Sunday gap. They drove up, they filled the gap, and as soon as they filled it, became efficient, we rejected it. Big sell-off in Globex, new low, bid back up. This is the swing point. All right, so we're watching this swing point right here into, what is this, 620s or whatever it is, 640s, somewhere around that. Lines up pretty well with these value areas. That's what I'm watching this morning. All right, moving up into the lower time frame, just quickly so you can see the previous day. We can, why is this red? Let's get rid of you. You should not be red. We're going to flip you. All right, this is an area here that we're watching, this kind of area here, to see if and how we act. This can be red. There we go. All right, so we're watching how we react here, point of control, and then this block right away up here, which was volume. All right, so balance between this, over this, maybe a drive up, fail breakout, back down into this, and maybe a snap back down into this area here. Let's have a look at some of the broader markets. Quick look at ES for you. Should look fairly similar. Yes, very, very similar. Snapped the previous day low, expanded into, what is this? The old weekly. All right, found a bid underneath, failed breakout, reclaimed that level, that old weekly, and then has driven straight the way back up into developing point of control from the last month or so. All right, so from the last month or so. So very, very similar. Gap fill would be up here if it's going to fill that gap. We can talk about that as well, by the way, in the Qs. If we are going to fill that gap, we've got to come right the way back up to 673 so that you're all aware. QQQ. Same kind of story. All right, remember we didn't get all the overnight action, so we got a big old gap down, pre-market, failed to break lower, and we're driving back up. Previous day low here on the QQQ. We can watch that if we get inside it. Gap fill, if we reject previous day low, back down here. ETFs are going to make it a bit easier today, I would say. So we can watch this level. In fact, we can set price alerts in for gap fill. Add alert here. We call that gap fill. No, we won't. We call that PDL, tap, and then gap fill up here on QQQ. My bad, almost got that wrong on a Monday morning. Gap fill, QQQ, and you can do the same thing for the spiders. If you're wondering why we do that, it's just so that we understand the cash gaps on the ETFs. So spiders already through previous day low, so anything left for them is a gap fill, which is up here. All right, so it's almost there on the SPY. Dixie, it's found a bid. All right, Dixie's found a bid. So we'll have to see how this sort of yen, Dixie, and bonds situation plays out. But you can see that old inverse head and shoulder. All right, and it's probably going to want to come up here. Pretty good for the market if we do that. Pretty good. VIX, still pretty much in this old channel, right? Still pretty much in this old channel. No change. Still has increased volatility if it wants to go. Let's have a quick look at the MAG. We've got to get a move on. All right, Apple in its range, that is absolutely disgusting, but it is holding that key level of the 50s, now just in a range with a failed breakout here. That was on the earnings, all right. Amazon, right, it's caught a bid down here. This is blue box we talked about coming back into. It's caught a bid so far. Does it close its gap? Does it find acceptance? Remember, it's a Monday morning. Take it nice and easy. We're going to go over the news in a minute. Goog, gapping down very, very slightly. It's got a gap fill above. It all depends if they sell that gap fill. This seems to be the story of the tape right now. Meta, same thing. Great earnings, shove up. All right, is this bullish to come back up into here? Remember, I'm long Meta right now. This is where I'm looking to get my next partial out into 760 if it will let me, if the market wants to play that. And Microsoft, all right, that looks dreadful. Big sell-off, right? It won't get going until it gets a break over 39, and you might as well call it 440 break on Microsoft probably opens the door for a bit of a reclaim up into these. Until that point, it looks pretty bleak. And Nvidia, that's a gap down on Nvidia back into the range. Same thing, all right, failed breakouts, bottom side of the range down here, rotation in here, same story. And Tesla, that has got to be the ugliest looking chart out of everything for a while. All right, unless you're a range trader, you're probably having a lot of fun. If you're a swing range trader, that looks a lot of fun. But for everyone else, that looks like a bit of a nightmare. Let's have a look at some broader sectors. Doesn't look too good on Netflix. All right, possible continuation unless they fail to break lower, and then we'll get that rip up. I've still got a small starter on there. Let's have a look at the chips. AMD trying to find a bid here this morning and close its gap. And what else we got? AVGO. The chips look slightly weak. Okay. Let's get ourselves all set up here. Let's get a developing profile on. You can get out of there, mate. So I'm going to set my developing weekly profile now. Down here. And we can see what we get. All right, so that's from the Sunday open. Morning, everyone. Do me a favor, smash that like button nice and early, and we can go from there and do some giveaways. I'm going to have to get some more giveaways set up. I will announce those guys who did the competition on YouTube. I will announce the Funded Next winner today as well. And what else was there? And those in Discord, that free giveaway of the volume profile and order flow course, we'll announce that after stream as well. So we'll get everything done after stream. Let's have a look at the news today. Make sure I'm up to date with this. Where are we at? 4 minutes left. What have we got today? 9:45 PMI, 10 o'clock ISM. All right, so some news coming there. The big ones that we're looking at, job openings tomorrow, but probably really Thursday, Friday this week. All right, initial jobless claims and the employment report. And then also we have Mag 7 earnings again this week. All right, so let me just remind myself what days those are. All right, we'll be looking at, well, I will pay attention. Palantir tonight, AMD tomorrow, but the big ones, Goog on Wednesday and Amazon on Friday. Those are the big ones. Thursday, Friday, those are the big ones. But worth paying attention to AMD. If that has blowout earnings, it might help the chips find a bit of a bid early in the week. All right. No worries. Thanks, everyone. Alex, do you trade a bounce? Do you get on a shoulder? How do you trade a bounce? A bounce, like a continuation, or you're just looking for a fib pullback and into a key level. All right. So if you were playing this bounce here this morning, there's your break. There's the hold of structure, pull back. This is pulling back, same level. This is pulling back, same level. This is pulling back, failed to break lower, same level. Now you wouldn't want to play a bounce. You're probably going to look to sell into here. All right, let's have a quick look at liquidity on the book as well. We got any big players in this morning? Anywhere dancing around? Yes. Okay. 600, 625, which will be into our sort of key levels. Okay, nice. Let's see if we can get a morning drive and see if they fail that drive and we can sell into it. If they're going to do that, we want to be very careful if we complete the gap fill and start to base above. So patience this morning. Curious if I have bias going into the day. I don't want to be too biased, but there's potential that they sell this early in the morning into 600s, maybe the point of control. But if we just look at the hourlies, right, we think about where we are. It's completed most of the move, hasn't it? It's come and done this move here. Here's last week. All right, we want to see, are they going to sell this or are they going to sell this for this move down? Then we have to take a partial into this because we don't know if it cracks. It might just build out liquidity down here like we talked about at the beginning. So I'd want to see if we sell this or sell this early on in the day. That's what I'm going to be looking for. Do they sell this down? Do they sell this down? If the answer is no, right, if we're building out liquidity here, then I'm going to expect this drive up here. So I want to see how we build out early in the morning. Okay, but this drive that we've done since, well, what time's this? Since this low we've put in since 2 a.m. It's pretty good, all right? It's approaching 350 plus points drive out. So waiting to see if there's a short opportunity, probably at the open. That's probably the best way I can put it. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, bell coming here in just over 30 seconds, folks. Right, so I'll be looking to see if the market, very clearly, if we're going to fail here or here, gap fill is here. So are we going to do one of these moves? If the answer is no, and we do this, we're going to build liquidity to go higher. If we build liquidity lower, then I'm thinking about that trade underneath as well. That's what I'm looking at. All right, that is what I'm looking at. Don't do that. I want this one gone. All right, here we go, folks. 10 seconds. Good luck, everyone. Don't do anything stupid. Monday morning. Don't force your way into anything. If this wants to lift up to 700 first, it will. All right, here's the morning drive. Up we come into the value areas, into these 600s. Remember, it can lift all the way up to 680, even 7s if it wants to go. And then we'll see what we do once we get here. But big squeeze out this morning. And if they don't find acceptance through here, then I will be interested in the short, right? So if they don't find acceptance through here, watching this, there's some sellers up here into 605s. Wouldn't mind it a bit higher at the moment, see how far they can squeeze it. And that 700 is going to be a big level. They're going for gap fill at the moment, folks. They're going for gap fill. Big buyer up here, probably going to get himself caught, 91 lot. Okay, so we see if we come back under 600 or if they hold the bid. So Globex sitting at 45s, where we are now, there or thereabouts, 35, sorry. And then gap fill up here into 70s. Let's see if they hold 600 or if they fail this on the push. Right, in this now, taking partial straight away in case they find a bid. Locking some in. Nice move to start the day into that current point of control. So as soon as they failed 6, just took it straight back down into this area. The reason I'm being very quick there on the opening drive is because they can now rebid this red zone. All right, so if we're going to get continuation, it's going to be under here. All right, and if they're going to hold this, it's going to flip this whole block for this move here. So short for the 600 break, straight down into this, taking a partial. Waiting to see now if we get acceptance lower. The answer is no, so out and a cover. And now we just wait for the next trade setup, probably the very, very similar setup. So in the morning, very, very quick. Let's see. Let's see. What's your ATR here? It's well over 50 points. They look like they're going for gap fill here. Here's the Globex. Let's see if they get up into gap fill. And then remember, these are naked. Previous day point of control, previous week point of control. Those are both naked. 700 is going to be a massive level. Here they go for gap fill then. So the continuation long was the play there off this red block, which is now blue. So we now know that this is a support structure. All right, so they're going to try and get up into gap fill. This is gap fill now. Let's make sure the Qs are closing as well. Yeah, Qs closing the gap. Spider's got a little bit longer to go. I want to see now if they react here or not. And if no, then they're going to base out and they'll look for a bigger squeeze. So gap almost filled there, pretty much filled. Missed it by what? A tick. A bloody tick it missed it by. A bloody tick. Let's see if they've got a bit more juice for one more shove up. I'll give you a little readout on the market. Tesla 3.29% down. Nvidia 1.96% down. Microsoft 0.62% down. Meta 0.32% down. Google over 0.25% down, Amazon 0.5% up, and Apple 1.5% up. They look like they just want to fill this gap and then maybe flush it back down, but we'll see. If they get through the gap fill, then they can look for the 700s. 700s for me is going to be a big level up into this. This is going to be a big level up here. On Ninja, by the way, I have my previous day value area low up there as well. So I should probably do this because there's a divergence between these. If I do this and I call it NT, Ninja Trader, previous day value area low. All right, so let's watch. Again, if we get weak under all of this, there's a new short opportunity. Watching this very carefully to see if they flush under here where this big buyer came in last time. No, still bidding here right now. They're still bidding here. We're extended. It would be much better if they filled that gap and did 700 and then failed, to be quite honest at this point, because they can rebid this. I don't want to be short versus this squeeze. I want to see them come up here, fill this gap. Ideally, ES fills the gap as well, and then we can sell it. Otherwise, we're going to have to sell down here, which is fine, but it's not ideal. I'd like to get a premium price as close to in here as possible. Let's put some volume on for the session as well before we forget. No, that's not what I want. I want this one right here, please. There we go. There we go. All right, let's see. Ideally, they squeeze this out a little bit higher. A little bit higher. I'm going to watch VIX into that 1750 for its gap fill as well. Building liquidity here. We're just stuck in this value area on the session right now. And ideally, we squeeze up into this and then fail. The sloped line moving average. This one is what I call my higher time frame algo. All right, so when we're building between higher time frame, lower time frame algos down here, higher time frame algos up here. That's how I dictate if the market's in a higher time frame liquidity build from lower time frame to higher time frame, which currently it is. That's why we've got this box up here. If we start bidding above this and the lower time frame catches up, we can go on a big old squeeze. But right now, I think there's probably a rotation between these two for a bit, which is why I'm looking to see if they fade the market up here. If they don't and they catch a giant squeeze, then the next stop is 850s, 800, 850s. If they get through this 700, they're going to go 850s. So remember, we expected the market to drive up this morning at the opening bell. We're waiting to see if it runs out of gas on a retest up here. So we're getting close now into this area up here. Sevens will be interested. If we base over sevens, we have to wait for it to for the EMAs to catch up, and then we'll look for a long to 850. Otherwise, I'm looking to sell this if I see buyers get stuck, right? If I see buyers get stuck. Not if I don't. Here it goes. So towards this 7s now. Getting very squeezy. ES now filled its gap. SPY now filled its gap as well. So those have completed the move. So this is the area where if they're going to sell it, they should sell it around here. If not, then they're going to come all the way up here and we're going to have to look for a long. But if they're going to sell it up here, I'm interested. If they trap enough buyers, how are we doing? We've got to remember we've got news coming in what, just over 10 minutes. Just make sure that's right. 10 minutes, right? Yes, PMI. Okay, 9:45 and then more news at 10. 9:45 and then 10. All right, right into this block. Pretty thick here, actually. What are they doing? What are you lot doing up here, playing some games on the tape? So into the 20-day on ES, bouncing off the 20-day on SPY. So divergence between the spiders, between the ETFs and the futures right now. QQQ into its 20-day as well. So we're at mean. We've recovered already. If we think about what we've done overnight, we've gone from lower Bollinger Band to mean already. All right. So we talk about these kind of trades all the time, don't we? Especially, it happens more frequently when the Bollinger Bands are getting tighter. You can see we're starting to struggle to move higher here yet. They are starting to struggle to move price higher through here. We know it's a big level as previous day point of control. Fair value from Friday. They are starting to struggle to move higher. Can we trap enough buyers here, or have they got to re-squeeze up to 850s? Gap filled now on QQQ. So just got the alerts on that. Yeah, it's well filled. That is a slow alert trading view. All right, VPOC now moving up here. We see we're starting to build out a shelf up here now. Watching this for your as an over and under for sentiment. Can we change that, please? Here we go. All right, back down into this previous day value area low on Ninja Trader. So do they find acceptance through that or not is the question. If they keep bidding here, then there's a re-squeeze. If they fail this, we can come back down. The big buyer came in at 97. So I'm going to watch sort of 700 break here. Here's the break towards 97. So we know there's a big buyer who stepped in last time at 97. So we're going to need it under 97, under this shelf here. Under that shelf here, there's a big flush possible. If we come under this sort of shelf right here, all right, if we start losing the bid here, then there's a big flush down possible, like we're potentially going to start doing. Need to see them get aggressive and stay heavy. Not before that. So 97 still protected. Here comes the flush. I want to watch 97 on a retest, see if they stay heavy. They are staying heavy versus 97, so interested if they stay heavy. They're faffing around a little bit here. I want to see this offer move down, which I'm not seeing. So still not in this short yet. Not seeing the offer move down yet. They're now protecting 710s. It feels close, but it's a bit iffy, I'm going to be honest. The tape, it's a little bit iffy. We're not under 700s. Interested in this if they snap. Here, back to 97s again. All right, let's give it a go then. Small size. Tiny size versus 7s. I want to see this offer come down from 710s or I'm going to snap or I'm going to cut it. I need to see this offer move down from 710s. They keep protecting this lower side. Here we go. Keep protecting it. Moving break even now because I don't like this faffing around here. I want to see this slam this now, otherwise I'm out. '90s. They've got to let go 90s here. They're building a shelf and quite a big shelf here. You can see the low volume node underneath. If they let go of this, it will go, but they are getting whippy. Moving my stop into the money now. We need to protect those 97s. Going to be stopped out here on the 700 test. There we go, stopped. Give it a go, small size. No juice. I was just watching the tape here. Where are you guys? No, this one. All right, I was watching this. We kept holding this like imbalance here. Wanted to see this seller move down and walk it lower. We didn't see it, so a small size versus 7s. Right, I was looking to see if we'd flush this and fill this in. We didn't, so we can now, if we rebid, there is a chance to come higher into the 8s, like we talked about. All right, so it's messy in here. Yeah, this shelf is messy. All right, if they bid over this shelf, they're going to come for a big squeeze. If they lose this shelf, we can think about the same trade again. We've got news coming in 3 minutes. It's a little bit risky. They're going to do it now, aren't they? You bastards. That's the story of my life right now. VIX almost filled its gap. Not quite there. Almost filled its gap. Not quite there. So VIX trading now at 58. Gap fill on the VIX will be 42s. If they rebid this, they can come up here. That'd be very aggressive, especially with the mag looking the way it is. That would be amazingly aggressive. Apple's starting to lose its bid. Right, remember that was 1.5% up. It's now just 0.20% up. We are holding bids, though. There's no doubt about it. We're right into this thick area from Friday. So it's a big area from Friday. But if they squeeze through this, 850s is possible. Here's the squeeze. So not in this long. Might kick myself for this. 8 to 850s possible. Failed breakout will be a push into this. Oh, what's that? I don't know what that is. Failed breakout will be a push into this and a loss of this, right? A breakout will be a hold of this now for 800 and this level up here that we keep talking about, these naked levels, which it might well have the juice to go to. We will see. And we've got news coming here in a couple of minutes, folks. Buyers definitely got trapped there above 23s. All right, buyers just got trapped above 23s there. So if they don't let them out, that would be a bit of a shake and bake. More buyers getting caught here. If they can't get back above the 20, what did I say, 23s, then they're going to get themselves caught. If they can't get above 23s, they're going to get themselves caught. We're watching the same shelf for the snap down if they're going to let it go. Feels very messy here this morning on the tape. Back to these 23s. If they re-squeeze this, then there is a chance to come all the way up here like we talked about. Waiting for news. So just over 1 minute until the news. Let's see what we do after that. VIX almost at gap fill. It's almost there on the VIX. All the ETFs have been efficient. All the futures market are now efficient. We've closed the gap and above the gap. Right on that 20-day on the QQQ. Same on the NQ. It's got a tiny bit more to go, but we're there or thereabouts. We're right at mean. Okay, still watching this level. If we fail, I'm still interested short if we fail and stay heavy. Not unless we don't. I've already had one little go at it. When I say tape, you mean footprint and not time and sales, right? No, I mean time and sales. I mean right in front of me on Bookmap. That is the tape. Time and sales, like however you want to look at that. But for me, if I'm looking at the tape, the story of the tape, I'm actually watching Bookmap. Bookmap gives me more of a story of the tape than Footprint does. Footprint does. It's very hard to see like in each second what's happening. Whereas in Bookmap, I can see every single tick that's coming through. Okay, opening range now set. News hitting the tape here. Let's see if they duck this under this grey and then come back down all the way down into here or not, or if they're going to keep holding bids up here. Would like to see them just duck this down and come back for a 640s revisit. Seller coming in now at 715, 150 lots. So they're trying to get aggressive. We might leave this tape now. This is what I'm looking for. Can we leave this shelf now and be aggressive? Still, they are bidding and holding down here. So no break underneath where that big participant came in earlier in the day. 97s, remember, 97s is where they came in. So it's kind of ugly here. We've got one shelf here, and then we've got like another little low here. So we've really got to come under this. We can move this down. We've really got to lose this whole section here. Until we lose that, we can't really think about the short. We'd have to lose that whole section. How much more juice has it got it? Right, point control here now. Shifted up on the day. We have a lot of discrepancies here today between Ninja Trader and TradingView at the start of the week. Yes, trying to break out for a new high. So no flush under this grey box yet. Momentum is bullish. Everything's bullish right now. They might well want to come up here. I'm definitely not going to play that long up there today. It feels like suicide to me right now, especially without a trap underneath. Maybe they just do it. Maybe they just turn the algo on and go. Right, VIX now filled its gap. So VIX has now filled its gap as well. So we have a completely efficient market. Let's see if VIX is going to fade under this gap. Market will continue to squeeze higher. So 850s is still possible here. 8 to 850s is still possible here. It's in my mind, it's a very dangerous move to trade from here to there, especially without like a flush. If they'd flushed back down and reclaimed, if they'd done something like this, right, I'd be more willing to take it. But I'm more interested in this move down into here. And then I can think about the long. But the way we're building this, squeeze, base, squeeze, base, squeeze, not really interested, especially when you consider where we've come from. Here. It's a big move into this same kind of shelf. It's a very big move. So we will see. Still stalking that same move. Seeing some weakness now. Do they stay heavy under this key level? Point of control now. I'm watching point of control. 707s and 97s. Remember, 97s where they kept defending earlier. Back to this point of control. I'm watching this, stalking this now in case they offer it. Still they're absorbing down here. They are relentless down there. That's a fail break higher. If they don't break higher now, I'm feeling better about it if we come underneath the 700s. They're still bidding this grey shelf. We could still possibly come up here. It would be a huge squeeze day if we come up there. If the low of overnight is 150 and we squeeze all the way up to 850, that is, without a significant pullback, that is going some. That's really impressive. Yeah, PMI 10 minutes yet. So we just had some news drop, which was... No, we just had PMI. We've got ISM in 10 minutes. PMI just dropped. It came in at 52.4. Previous was 51.8. There was no forecast on it. Okay, 750 being added on the tape above us now. So we've got passive sellers, 750, 740, 755, 760. Are they offering even more above? Yes, 800 is on the tape. What the fuck, mate? This is mental. They're really just going to do a giant squeeze today to 800s. Maybe. Maybe. It's a relentless bid up here this morning. The more I look at it, the more I think we're going for that previous weak point of control. But there's no way I'm playing that move. That is, in my mind, is a complete psychopath move for a straight up squeeze from the Globex low. If we're going to move from 150 or 180, whatever it is, to 850 with no significant pullback. I mean, look at this New York Open. We've already traded, right? We've already traded from fives. We're already 200 points higher without any significant pullback. Here we go. They're just going to do a giant squeeze here then by the looks of it. Nutters. Absolute nutters. But that's what they are. Mental. Someone's stuck. Do they want previous day high on SPY? Yep, it looks like they do. They want that 5-day and previous day high. They are ripping this thing now. Nothing to do here. Maybe if you traded that grey box, you're braver than me. But that's where it's coming now. This is the target then for them. This is where they're going. Look at this squeeze. They've caught them all offside. This is their target. So 800's coming up. No acceptance underneath the previous week, no acceptance underneath the previous day, and we're going to come right up to this naked point of control by the looks of it. This is a huge, huge move to do in one go, is the best way of me saying it, to do in one go. It's not necessarily a huge move. To do without a significant pullback is very, very aggressive. So I'm selling here, and if they keep absorbing versus 85, they've got the chance to move higher. So you can see a little bit of a new shelf developing here. They squeezed up. If they let go of 85, they can come back down, but you know, we just have to see how they operate on that move. Big seller came in at 90 there. So 90 is a big over-under now. It's a grey box. So if they retap into 90 and lose it, there's a possible wash down lower. So 90s is your level, your over-under. If they reclaim 90s, then we're going to expect 850s. For me, SPY looks like it wants previous day high. They all look like they want previous day high right now. So we're losing 90s at the moment. Do they come and fill some of this imbalance down to these 50s and below now? So in this short, can we fill an imbalance? The next imbalance, we've tapped the first one. Next one's down at 60 now. So short versus 90s, stop in the money. We either get paid or we don't here. So short from here versus 90, looking for this play down into here. Really, I'm more interested down into here, but I'm playing this pullback. If they base down here, I don't mind playing that long, and I don't mind playing that short. Here we go. Next imbalance will be 60s. Here we go. Almost got it. Next imbalance is 60s. Almost got it. Looking for a TP into 60s here. They're protecting it so far. Yeah, 65s and 60s. Yeah, they're still finding bid in front of that imbalance at the moment. I'm going to protect my stop here again because I am counter trend here at 90. Any reclaim of 90, I'm out. Any reclaim of that, I'm out. How long we got to news? 5 minutes. Here we go. Coming for these 60s now. Give me that TP. They front ran it. You can see even on Bookmap. Oh, they front run it just here. All right, looking to get filled into 60s. There's an imbalance down here. They front ran it twice now. So this guy's now stepping up. Very, very bullish. Under there, if they use his pain, we can go lower. So watching this very carefully. I will happily play long if they come back down to the 700s and base out now. I'll tell you that much. But just no way I'm bidding up here. This guy's moving up. Look at this guy chasing the market higher now. All right, sellers coming in at 75. So 75 and 90 are the level. News coming here in 5 minutes. I need to let this news come. What you guys saying? I watched a pullback video and it's very helpful. What would be my next entry? If I'm going to play the counter trend fade, I'm looking for a rejection of here. I've got to be careful because they keep building it out really nasty. I think they want to come up here. So if I'm going to replay this, I'm looking for that. If we base down here, I'll consider longs down here, right? If we do something like this, I'll consider longs, especially if we don't take this out. If we already take this out and reject, I'm far less interested in the longs. Right, so I'm willing to play both sides at the moment. Why? Because if we zoom out and think about where we are, we expected the squeeze this morning, and I said to you, it's either going to stop, they will end the squeeze here or here. All right, we're between the two right now. Remember that this morning? We're likely to see a squeeze up to here, here, or here. All right, we'll rip straight through the first one into this node. This is the next point. All right, so I would expect a pullback to happen somewhere in here at some point. All right, so 800, 850 down to 5, just call it 600. There's probably a 200-point pullback in here somewhere, right, while they build out this. And then they have to make the decision, are they going to do that or are they going to do that, right? So we expect this squeeze. Look at the structure, right? We expect this. Then we expect this. Then I don't know, because then it has to make its decision once it's built liquidity. Is it doing this or is it doing this? One of you asked where I get Discord. If you've done the course, go to the end of the course. It would tell you how to get the Discord. If you've bought the course, go to the end of it. Still holding bids here. Here come the 60s. Come on. Still holding bids. Flow zone starting to catch up. Order flow is still bullish right now. So if you've done 50%, just go all the way to the end. If you really want the Discord, just go all the way to the end. You can go back and complete the course. Just go to the end. One of the end modules will tell you, here we go, TP here. Right, now waiting to see if we come down to 30s, to this sort of block down here, or 20s. All right, so we're filling in some of this. We want to see if we come down into this, and then do they rebid off this, or do we use that as a complete collapse and leave buyers trapped? Here we go. So no matter what, I'm going to protect my stop now, and we'll just see if we're going to come lower now at this point into this block. Here we go, folks. Jesus Christ, they squeezed that for a long time today. So they're bidding here at 40s or just under 40s, 75 lot here into this opening range. And like we said, this can be absorbed down here now. We've built out a big shelf. So this is a big cover point for us. If we get under it, we can think about lower. Right, they just filled this buyer here. They just filled this buyer. Change some of this, make sure this looks a little bit better for the day on my Ninja Trader. Here we go, build this shelf out. So let's see if we can get into the 20s here. Opening range here, you can move your stop tighter here. See if we can get down into this grey box next. We're short versus the 90s. All right, short versus the 90s. We're 50 points up now already. Let's see if we can get down into here. Looks good. Nice. Here's the opening range. Let's go. Come on. So there's an imbalance upside now into 60 if they want to come up to that imbalance and then fade it, which looks like they're trying to do. So we have to see if they reject 60. Any reclaim of 60 now, and then I'm not really that interested in holding it, especially with news coming in 40 seconds. ES finding a bid right in front of New York VWAP 20-day and PDC right now. So they've got things stacked there if they do want to hold. So we're coming into big over-under. VIX reclaiming, all right? So washed under its gap fill under PDC, already reclaiming it into 1750s. Here we go. Newsprint now, 14 seconds away. Stops in the money. I would move stop comfortably in the money if you're trading this, because we might get skippy on a newsprint. There's a buyer on the tape today. There's been a buyer on the tape today. Look, he just got filled a little bit. Here's the squeeze. There we go, on the news. So I stopped out there. Right back to this shelf, same shelf. Apple now found a bid. Amazon's found a bid. It's messy out there, folks. Tesla over 3% down. Nvidia 2.34% down. Microsoft 0.10% down. Meta 1.69% down. Google 0.82% up. Amazon 1.68% up. Apple now 1.5% up again. What are we doing here? Come on, market. Calm yourself down. Let's do something reasonable. Can't trade this. Can't trade this. This is our edge up here. We're playing edge to edge. This is kind of gross, guys. Right, that's where we trap buyers. Remember, 90s was the level. This is this morning where we've trapped shorts. This can be a rotation. Under here, we can get weak and come back down for this block here, over this, we can finish the rotation to 850. We are bullish overall in the New York session so far today. It doesn't really matter what the newsprint is. You don't be too reactive to a newsprint. Just because you think the data is bearish does not mean a thing. What matters is how the market reacts to it, not what you think of it. Unless you're a fundamentals trader. I do not trade fundamentals. I trade the reaction to it. Otherwise, you're going to be susceptible to sell the news, buy the rumor, etc., etc. You're just opening yourself up. You know, if we've bid up for days and days and days and days and days, and the news is positive, do you think they're going to bid up more? No, they're not. They're going to use it to sell into as liquidity. Okay, back down to this opening range again. Why CFD moves differently? Yeah, because it's not a centralized exchange. It doesn't have as much liquidity, and because the broker's job there is completely fuck you over on slips. All right, so that's why I would not trade CFDs. If you can avoid trading CFDs, especially on markets where you could, trade what you would call the pair, you could trade the futures exchange for it. Why bother? Why not trade the centralized exchange, which is regulated? What do I think of silver? I think silver will probably do a bounce, and then we'll see if they fade it on the bounce. All right, so they're still finding bids on flow zones, and straight back to this level. I still think at the moment they want to revisit up here, and it looks like very much to me like ES wants previous day high right now. So ES previous day high is at 94s. SPY previous day high is at about the same 94s, with the 5-day up there. We can't get through this shelf at the moment. I think we will. Oh, it says OBS disconnected. You guys there? No, you don't need to say sorry at all. You don't need to say sorry. I'm just trying to help you guys. There's no sorry about the news being bearish or anything. You don't need to say sorry. But just it's like the easiest play in the game, right? That they will use a print and go the other way. Right? It's the most obvious thing in the game that they can do. You have to understand where we are positionally in technicals, where we are into that print. Like you just said, news was bearish. What are we doing? We're printing upside. How many fundamental traders went, okay, we're going to be bearish, right? Well, guess what? If they've all piled in short, right, on that news, then we're going to use them to go higher. Right? Don't get too caught up in the news. Worry about the reaction of the chart. If it's breaking news, which isn't priced in, it's a little bit different, right? If we get some huge headline that comes out, big war news, or it's something really, really big that is not priced in. Remember, most news is already priced in. Let me come back to this same level. There you go. React, don't predict. That's exactly it. Okay, so it looks to me like they want to squeeze up here at the moment. So they held in front of this shelf. We didn't quite get down to it. Like I said, I was willing to bid long down here if we did something like this. And I think now they'll try and complete this, and we'll watch ES into previous day high, and then we'll look to see if they do a failed breakout above that or not. OBS keeps telling me it's disconnecting. And if we get stuttery today, please just let me know. VIX getting caught at that 1750, so no full reclaim. Market probably going to slow down a bit here, coming into that whole number 800. I still think it wants higher at the moment. I think it wants this naked level up into here. It's what it looks like to me. It gets very thick. If we look at the hourly when we went there last week, this is a big, big level. We talked about this in the newsletter. This level here is big, right? Bears have got to defend this. If bears fail to defend this and we do this, then we can go rotation right to where? Top end, and probably top side of Bollinger, which will be... Bollinger's just here. That's how tight the Bollinger is right now. 176. We could go from lower bowl to upper bowl in a day right now as we build out the rotation, which would be kind of gross, but it's very, very possible at the moment. All right, here they go. So they're lifting. All right, order flow bullish, flow zone's bullish. I played this little short back down into this. Waiting now to see how we react up here. Might be kicking myself that I didn't just buy dips all morning today, but there we go. They're going to come up to here. 26,210, 26. Yeah, all the way up here would be top bolt. It's possible. It would be pretty mad, but it's possible. Yeah, I think they want a little bit higher here. This out. Yeah, look at this. 161. That would be perfect into this kind of level. Even a measured move will be fine. They're almost there. They're almost there. And I imagine that would be a big target for them once they get up into that. They might call it a day there. Unless they really want to turn the jets on, they will have to get over 900 then for a move back up to 26,100. So into this level, and if they base over it, 26,100. But I would say that's fairly unlikely. I would think it's more likely that they shove up into here and then sell their inventory. But we will see, folks. We will see. Could be like last week where Monday, Tuesday, even Wednesday bid up and then flush back down. So almost there on the ES. We talked about that previous day high. It's very, very, very close on the ES right now. Very, very, very close. About to tag. So your 5-day. SPY's already through it. It's just the ES. And then you can think about that 7,000. SPY's already through it. My stomach is rolling. Need some food. Right, watching this level, see how we react. Previous day value area high, previous week point of control. So we've completed a full rotation from previous day value area low right back up to previous day value area high. So no auction underneath it, no rejection of it, no rejection of previous day point of control, right up to previous day value area high and previous week point of control. I'd imagine in here there'll be a look above and a fail. I would imagine, unless they're really going to go mental for the 26,100s. ES almost there, folks. We do have divergence between the ES and the spiders, right? Cash is already over previous day high. ES is not. What did I miss, Tyson? Starting with 5 PAs today. Most I've had at one time. Nice work. Yeah, I'm very hungry. Can you hear my stomach rumbling? I'm very, very hungry. It's, 7:08 in the morning. So we're watching this shelf here. All right, so I would like them to complete the squeeze. If I'm going to play the short, I'm going to need to see some buyers trapped up here and then short down into here. And then if we find acceptance, this move here. Not before that. We're not going to short on the way up. All right, we're going to need them trapped. A bit like here. Once we saw that trap, we got this down into here, cover, and then break even on that newsprint right here. There's still a buyer on the tape, 820s. He keeps trying to walk up. He's been here all day. I want to see this build out a little bit more. A spike and a build out would be nice. Here we go. Alex, you're from the UK and live on the west coast of the US. Yes, correct. Correct. All right, here we go. This naked point control is probably where they want to come. 850s. Remember we said if we find acceptance over here, 700s, it's possible to go 8 and 850s. So over 700s, 8 and 850s. Did I trade it well? No, absolutely not. Did I call it? Yeah. Terrible from me, to be quite honest. I'm going to look back at this and think, what were you doing? You said it was going to squeeze to 7s. You said over 7s, 8s, and you said over 8s, 850s, and yet you didn't trade the move up. What a silly man. What a silly man on a Monday morning. Okay, well, almost there. Almost there. Previous day high almost hit on ES as well, folks. We're almost there. It's getting close. Value area high on the day now up here as well. So we're starting to build out a bit more of a shelf. You can see the shelf starting to be built out a little bit more. We have imbalances here down to 800 if they do want to do a quick wash and catch before they go back up. There's a buyer on the tape. He is relentless. Amazon now 2% up. Apple 1.65% up. Google 1.28% up. Rest of Mag, red. So they're bidding early. Google and Amazon, obviously, they have earnings this week. So we're pricing it in nice and early. They're going to bid it up. They could bid up and sell the news like they did with everything else last week. Meta 1.38% down. Microsoft 0.25% down. Nvidia 1.75% down. Tesla 2.77% down. So I'm going to build up a little bit more shelf here. I still would like them to complete this move higher first. Come and take out the low-hanging fruit before they do the drop. Would be nice. Otherwise, it makes it much harder to play the move back down. If we leave low-hanging fruit, ES also low-hanging fruit above is got the previous day high. Where ES is trying to get into. Where did you send emails? Purchase flow zone indicator for TradingView but cannot open. What's your email, please? And I'll have a look. Maybe you went into my spam or something. Checking my spam. Tomek, what's your email? Or email me info@flowzonetrader.com and I'll have a look at everything for you. I haven't seen an email from you. But if you've bought it, it should tell you what to do. Because you need me to approve it. So if you've bought it, the course for the indicator should tell you what to do. All right, almost there. It's almost at that low-hanging fruit. Right into here, sort of 850-ish, somewhere around that. And remember, above 900s, if we base out between 900 and 850, we can go all the way up to 26,100s, or definitely 26,080s. Do I have a Discord? Yes, it's for members only. It's for people that have done the 20-hour course. I haven't seen you reply, Tomek, so I don't know if you're still here, but here's previous day high now taken on ES. Previous week point of control here. Everything now being tagged into. So into all these key levels now. And we have big shelves up here now. This is a big, big block from Friday now. How do you do the course? All the links are down below, guys. All the links are down below. flowzonetrader.com. Everything is there. All the links are down below. All right, so all low-hanging fruit has been taken. If you were long, I would be out 90% of your position. If you're very lucky, you'll come all the way up here. But I would be out 90% of your position now. If you were long, you've just hit all the key moves. I would not be holding, looking for anything beyond this. You would be very, very lucky if they continue to squeeze beyond this. Might very well be that you get very lucky, but I wouldn't be holding beyond it, okay? Don't think there's a reason to hold beyond this. They are being very aggressive with the bid this morning, but your job is to make money and lock it in, isn't it? Your job is not to, gamble for the next move. Your job is to lock in money where possible. Now starting to see if they can base above this. I will not be playing longs from previous week point of control unless we build out a huge amount of liquidity up into this level here next. I would imagine there will be a fade coming because they've done not really built up much liquidity. But at the moment, they have just been bid up, bid up, bid up, bid up all morning long. And they still bid up, bid up, bid up. It's very, very, very aggressive here. This is madness. Previous day point of control on Ninja Trader is at 79. So I'd be watching. This is what I'm talking about, the divergence between NT. Still it's going. VIX might want previous day low here. This is a huge squeeze out for the day. Off Globex low, and we are now, what, 800 points higher or something ridiculous? 700 points higher? Very hard to get in, yeah. We should have just bought that drive this morning. Trap buyers there for sure. Might be a fade coming soon enough. We know that this level here is key. This grey box is key. Here it comes. So we've got imbalances now down to 50s and 40s. Big old squeeze. Don't love the excess at the high yet. There is a decent amount at 74s, but we haven't really retested it yet, so we'll see. There's the 60s. still not retested these stuck guys at 70s, 74s. If they leave 74s and we trade under 60s, they might get a bit more aggressive under here. If we leave 74s. Watching previous day high on ES to see if they rebid it or let it go. We have got previous day high on the Qs to go for if they really want to turn the jets on, which would be all the way back up to previous week value area high. It would be a huge move. It would be a move as big as last week in one session from the lows to the highs. Remember, our low overnight is 182. Our New York Open is 543. And we're now trading almost 900s with only really this little pullback here. This was bullish. This is not very good to buy in, but this was the only little pullback here. One little pullback. That's it. That's all the market has offered. All right, that's the first re-attack of 75. So they haven't got through the 75s there we just talked about. Are they going to come a little bit higher? Looks like the answer is yes. His previous day point of control based on Ninja now taken. So there's literally no low-hanging fruit left unless they're going to go for previous day value area high based on Ninja Trader, which would be 917. All right, based on NT 917, which is up here. So anything left? This is so squeezy. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. $7,000 now tagged on ES as well. And we have got stops to aim for at 944s. If we start basing up here, like, oh my God, talk about a turnaround. We talk about a turnaround. If we base up here, this is going to be quite a big turnaround for the market after last week. We'll see. This is only the first test, though. So I have an old point of control from Friday up here on Ninja Trader, which we've just tagged into, which was 81s. And I actually have previous day value area high just based on Ninja Trader at 917s. So we could, this on Ninja Trader is 917s. Remember, at the beginning of the day, I said the divergence between NT and TradingView is massive today. Maybe VIX wants previous day low. How do you lose all your profit? You must be fighting it. Don't fight the tape. There's nothing to fight here. We don't leave areas. We're only going one direction. Look, multi-time frame bullish right now. We've been a squeeze all day long. Don't fight the tape. What do I always say? Don't get front side. The only way you've lost this is if you're betting against it on the way up. Just don't do that. If you want to play the fade, it's going to have to like wash out and leave liquidity. We've had like one go at it, which was like here. That was it. You entered at 880. You entered what at 880? If you longed at 880, you're nuts. And if you've shorted at 880, there's no reason to short. There's literally, we haven't left anything yet. So if you've longed at 880 and you've lost all your money, how have you lost all your money? You must be so oversized. All right, so it looks like previous day value area high based on NT is the next area then. 920s here. Oh my gosh. Here we go. 920s coming up. 920s coming up, I would say. Big buyer came in at 900, so all the time they're above 900. 920s is what they're looking for, which is previous day value area high based on just on Ninja Trader. If we get through 920s and we base above, you cannot rule out 26,070s. You can't rule out up here if they get a base above it. Back to the 900s we go. Right. So buyers now caught at 900s and above. I don't want to get long now. I don't want to get long now. We've completed this whole move on NT. If we think about this, all right, based on NinjaTrader, this was previous days, but this is so different to what we were seeing on TradingView. But this like reclaim and a straight squeeze without a pullback. We've literally reclaimed the whole of the previous week and previous day, the whole way back up without a pullback. I definitely don't want to be long up here. It's going to have to do a significant pullback and build out a lot of liquidity for me to consider any form of long. And I just, it's way, way, way too risky. The only long opportunity, I guess, was here, and we were looking for a long down here into 700 off it. It didn't offer it. Do not get overly bullish at the highs. Nice, Tyson. Great work. All right, big buyer came in at 900. We haven't quite got to those 20s yet. We're not far away. Indy on the footprint. What's that? There's a sell side imbalance, 26.45. What time frame are we looking at? Like a 15-minute or something. Yeah, up here, there is. You're right, there is. Definitely. Okay, buyer still caught at 900. Tape still bullish. No shelf to leave yet. I'm going to get rid of this. This was a thick area from last week, but I'm going to get rid of that for a moment. We've traded through it. We know 830s is the level. It's the same level here. So we can build liquidity in here for a bit if it wants. Bro, you wouldn't even go short from here. I will go short from here once it tells me it's ready. What's your trigger? Just that it's up high. That's not a trigger. If we start leaving volume trapped, that's a trigger. Just because a stock's up high and you go, oh, it's gone up too high, that's not a trigger to go short, is it? I'm watching these 900s, and I know previous day value area high based on NT, like we talked about. We have like the divergence on the tape. NT value area high is up here. So I'm wondering if we're going to go all the way up there right now. That's what I'm wondering. Starting to build out volume here. So I'm watching this now. VIX almost previous day low. It's got a little bit more to go. To the edge of this volume shelf. If we leave this, it'd be interesting. We do have excess at the high. Here's the imbalance down to 85. If we start leaving this, I'm interested. Not if we don't. If we keep finding just duck under and holding imbalances and come back in, then there's no way of playing short side here. It's starting to look a little bit better here on a tape. Let's see. An imbalance here down to 84s. It's looking a little bit better here. Might get flushed through this. Still holding that imbalance down to 84 at the moment. Buyers are stuck at 900 and above. Still holding the shelf. Low volume node just absorbed again. They're not done with it. Not yet. We just rejected that 900 player though. Still think 820, no, 820s, 920, can't believe it's 9. Still think 920s is possible on a reclaim. There you go. They might go for it now. I think 920s is possible on a reclaim. We're not leaving this shelf. We've ducked under, held the node, come back inside this shelf. We have some excess here. It's not the best excess. 900s is a big level, and we're now building out. If we can build out here for long enough or put in more excess, I'll be more interested. But 20s is possible. Let me check the tape above. Is anyone up at 20s? Yes, there are a couple players up at 20s. Come on, just make your mind up, tape. Apple now 2% up, Amazon 2.5% up, Google 1.5% up. Meta just under 1% down. Microsoft 30% down. Nvidia 1.18% down. Tesla 2.5% down. Squeeze day so far. They will do a nasty pullback at some point. It is just a question of when. They will not just go straight up 700-800 points all day long without doing a nasty pullback. They will do it. It would just have to be when they need their exit and they've got enough people trapped. Back down to this imbalance again. Watching this very, very carefully. Watching previous day high on ES and the 5-day as well. They're all at the same level. I need a coffee. Am I going to need a coffee at the worst point? Do I go for a coffee now and then you guys will all get the trade? Is that the plan? I'd be watching 920 rejection and then a lose of the shelf. Right, I'll be right back. Oh, there's a loser of the shelf. All right, let's see. Didn't even get to 820s. 920s even. Let's see. Still absorbing here. There's a move down into here possible, 820. So that there is a full move. If we reject this, this move is available. The other option is that it goes 920, then does this move. Those are both available right now. Seeing if I can get involved in this somehow. Here we go. So this is current value area high on the day. Here comes all the way back down towards this shelf. Let's see, folks. Seller at 880. Let's see if we can get down into the 60s. We've got a shelf here developed into 60s. Under here, it gets fun, really fun. Here we go. Covering a little piece here. Had to chase that a little bit because I was away from the desk. And really, I want these 30s if we get lucky. But I'm covering some into 60s because we can very well hold up here. Coffee indicator. Every fucking time, isn't it? Every time I need a coffee or a pee, the market moves. It's true. It's absolutely true. I just got a little piece left. I had to chase a bit there. But covered most out here into these 60s. In front of these 60s. Let's see if we can get under this now and get into this next shelf down here. All right, and then we would expect buyers might want to step back up and go for the 20s. Been quite the squeeze this morning. It has been quite the squeeze this morning. That's what I'm saying. Who was, I forget who was looking short, and I was like, you got to let it build out volume. See how we build out volume and then we leave it. Right, now it needs to reject this volume. If it doesn't reject this volume, you're going to have an inverse head and shoulder, right? If it doesn't reject this, right, then you're going to do this, and 920s is possible, right? You have to understand you cannot be short on squeezes up just hoping. You have to see it leave an area, all right? And then your counter trend, and you better be covering into each node, all right? And protecting yourself, because you don't know if we're a pro trend, if this is the pivot, right? This is the pivot. Right, it might very well catch bids around here and go back higher. You can't be expecting the whole thing to roll over. It might happen, but you cannot have that as an expectation. Here we go. Come on. Come on. A little bit lower. Can we get into here? 30s would be very, very, very nice. Can we go to 30s? The moment we keep protecting that level. We get down into 30s. Here we go, folks. Here we go. Lovely. I want to see us just drop under this and snap down into here. And then I'll be taking most of my position out here. Big level here in previous week. Here we go, folks. 50s. We've got imbalances here into 50s and then another one down at 37. All right. So imbalances here. We're going to get most out into this. We want to be very, very careful. Remember, we're counter trend in this short. We want to be careful here. Covering some into this 50 because I can see a player trying to step up here. And then through this, we should get a flush. Just covered some into that. Have to be patient for it. You cannot be front side. Here we go. Right, let's see if we can get grey box. I'll be 90% out into grey box. Here we go, 50. So imbalance filled here. Next imbalance is down to 38s. Hopefully some of you guys are in this short with me. Do not be overly aggressive. All right, please do not be overly aggressive. Just manage your position. We're counter trend short after a big squeeze out, which has done a full rotation. So we're just playing the short back down after that rotation. And we will go from there, see what sets up afterwards. Over 1,000 of you have not smashed that like button for me. Please do me a favor, hit that like button. Then I don't have to say it anymore. Makes my life easier. And we will want this protected. If they do not protect this, then we will expect new highs, right? If we're going to measure out, we just talked about this, if we're going to measure out this leg, right, we want to try and get down into here. It might be that they don't do it. So if we've built liquidity and they do this, then we can expect 820. And if they want to be really nasty, they're going to come all the way up there, which will be previous week value area high. I cannot tell you how insane a move that is when you understand how we've got there. All right, if you understand how we've got there, here's previous week value area low. All right, here. There's the gap, fill, no acceptance, reclaim. Remember, reclaim a weekly level. That will be insane. This is a whole week we might well do in a New York session. And if you don't think this is insane, this is normal. This is insane. That is a straight up squeeze, guys. Very impressive. Market not wanting to let go right now. The rotation continues. All right, still rejecting grey box. That's a good sign. That is a good sign. What was the initial balance? It'd be a higher day. Remember, a higher day, it's a lower day. Or do you mean what is the size of the IB? It is 370 points. Huge. That is a huge initial balance. Absolutely massive. How did we do on Friday? It was quite messy. I'm trying to remember. I think we got something good at the end of day, didn't we? Or did I miss this whole thing? I can't remember, folks. I might have. I can't remember. I genuinely can't remember. I ended up teaching. I think we caught one really good trade on Friday towards the end of stream, and then I think it might have gone without me. I can't really remember. But in the private lesson in Discord, everything we talked about set up, which was great. All right, flow zone still holding previous week point of control, still holding here as a bid. If they want to complete a bid from here, all right, then they would look for this move up here to 26,073. And it's insane, but you cannot rule it out. All I'm saying is you cannot rule that move out. ES holding its 5-day and its previous day high, finding a bid there. VIX still yet to close its gap. I caught 30 points and then it went without me. There you go. So MG saying what happened. I seem to remember having like 2 or 3 goes at it and then end up doing it. You got funded because of Friday? Awesome. Fantastic. IB to VWAP would be quite a move. Yeah, it would. It would. Right, still watching this grey level here, and we have a new shelf here. So this is a rotation between the two. If it's a big if we keep rejecting this and we come under this move here is possible. Big if they reclaim this, you do not want to be short. If they start reclaiming this, you do not want to be short. You are better to let it pop and fade back under and then think about the short. Do not guess the high of day, folks. It's a sure way to get absolutely wrecked. Hopefully that makes sense. Called it well, yeah. It was all right. I wasn't too bothered about Friday because I remember, I think the day before we had a net of 600 points or something. Last week was a very big week for me. Very, very big week for me. So I wasn't too fussed about Friday. I'm going to buy the course someday with the profit with your methods. There you go. I mean, there's no pressure to do that, but if you think it will help, you definitely do it. Okay, point of control shifted up here now. So previous day point of control, current day point of control, both at the same area. This is fair value, 880. If we leave point of control, then we can look for this move down here. We are developing out some kind of volume shelf here, though. It's messy how they're developing this, I'll say that much. Let me email, get some new codes for you guys so we can do some giveaways. Let me make sure I've got some set up. Okay, still watching that grey box. I chased the short. I had to chase. Someone else was I short. I had to chase down here for that flush. I had to chase it. All right, watching this grey box now. This is key. If they get through this grey box, I expect 820s and new highs. If we reject this grey box, it would be failure to follow through. There's downside price action. Buyers are currently stuck above 900. So above that, you will get a re-squeeze out. We have previous day value area high around 920 and previous week all the way up at 26,074 and previous day high at 26,020. So the next opportunities are basically, this is what I'll be thinking about. Either we reject this and we roll. We take it, we go 920, we reject and we roll. We take it, we base and we start to come up into here, right? These are all available and then that. We are very, 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 very bullish on the day. The order flow has been very, very bullish. They're just bid right now. But we are, you know, deep in premium. You've got to think we are in above premium of previous day, or coming into, if you're following Ninja, coming into like the most premium area of Friday. So it is not an ideal area to be buying off right now. Okay. Do I have any codes to reset pro accounts for Take Profit Trader? I wish, buddy. I'm sorry. No, no codes or anything like that for Take Profit Trader. I am working on getting stuff, but no, I don't think they would do resets for pros. Resets are very expensive for pro accounts. I think it would cost you about $600. Honestly, you're better off, in my opinion, my humble opinion, better off not resetting, paying 100 or whatever it is, and just passing a new eval. What was the bias at New York Open? Why rally towards previous week, previous day value? Because of the bullish structure from London session. And would you have been ready for a long? The bias was to at least back test, right? So I was telling you guys that it's probably a long up for the back test of sort of 600. Over 600, we talked about a back test of 7. Over 7, 850. And over 859, 26,100. Why? Just structure, right? So this is what we talked about this morning. If we think about this, all right, think about previous week and previous days in here. So gap down, no acceptance. We expect a back test of this. If we sell this, we said we'd sell that back down to here. If they don't stop here, they're going to come in for 700 test, all right? This node here, this level here. If they don't stop there, they're going to come up for this level here that we're now at, all right? If they don't sell this, then they're going to come up for the next level above, right? So we don't, this is what I always tell you guys why the counter trend's hard. We don't know where it's going to stop. So we have to wait for volume to be built out. If they don't build volume out, think about why is this squeezing? I'll tell you why it's squeezing. because shorts tried here and tried here and tried here, and they're adding, and they are fueling this fire up. Yeah, there's a bid also, don't get me wrong, but I don't really want to bid here for this. This is so risky to bid here for this. All right, failure to break out here, grey box. So we would imagine now the rotation will happen between here. Here are the important areas now for this current part. That was a failure to take a high. ES did take the high, so we had slight divergence here. We'll go grey box to grey box until they're done with it, and we can see what's what. Yeah, 900s and above, they keep getting stuck, the buyers. You can see it on the tape. That's where they keep getting stuck. You can see, we can see maybe here. Right, 900s and above. It's all buy side. If we look at all this, it's all buy side. It's all buyers keep getting caught up there. So at the moment, we're not seeing a passive buyer step in and support a bid above that. We're just seeing aggressive buyers get caught. Grey box to grey box is the current rotation. Yes, rejecting IB high as well. Okay, that down to this other grey box, point of control. If we leave this, it would get nasty. If they keep bidding this, they've still got a chance to move higher. We've now got lots of stops based up here. I have an anchored VWAP or anchor volume profile to 930. I have 2 ticks per row, but it doesn't look like yours. Have I got it wrong? No, that's right. What if you? It should look like this. You might need to reset it. That's exactly what to do. Should look the same. Maybe you got to change the width to 20%. Maybe that will help you. Okay, seeing some sellers step in here. Back down to these same key levels. Nothing's really changed here. Grey box to grey box. If we start leaving one, we can think about lower prices, but not before then. Certainly not before then. They are trying to leave this area. Watching ES into previous day high as well, right? ES into previous day high. It keeps bidding there this morning. I think they're going to try and clean up some of these guys a bit lower into 60s again and then see what happens. At the right level. Yeah. Let's see if we leave here then now and how we act. We're building out a huge amount of volume. It's a shame that they've left this little low volume node. It's going to be pretty dangerous how they're setting this up. They're still protecting this sort of edge here. I'm going to let this develop a little bit. There's a couple opportunities here, right? If we go sideways long enough and they leave it, there's a big fail down into here somewhere. Very, very possible. If they go long enough and they start bidding above, then I'm going to get more aggressively thinking that we're going to go up here. I'm not going to play the long up. I'm just not. I'm going to ban myself. If I was going to be long, I should have said what I was going to do, which was just buy the drive up and buy the whole. If that dip had been a bit better, I would have thought about it. If this structure had been better, I would have thought about it. But got caught waiting a little bit today. There we go. Monday morning. It happens. I'm not perfect. I'm only human. I won't grab everything even. Come on, guys. 1.3 thousand of you watching this, only 586 likes. Smash that like button, please. We've got to get it way, way higher if we're going to do some giveaways on the stream. Still holding this shelf. ES failing to break out over IB high, but not breaking down underneath its 5-day and previous day high. There might be some failure or a deeper pullback in this market. It's just a question of when they're ready for it. When are they going to be ready for it? Right back into previous week point of control again here. Are they going to start leaving? Still absorbing this kind of level, that low volume node. 35s. There are bids lower. Someone's trying to chase this down here and he keeps getting stuck. I'm just waiting for a pop to see a pop up get really sold into heavily again. And then I'll be more interested. And balance is down to 50. We have got bids down at 50 and under. I want to see a pop up, get sold into more aggressively, and then I'm going to be more interested. I'm very concerned if they keep holding here long enough without breaking down that we're going to go the 920 kind of shove. So I want to be careful. ES still holding previous day high. That's going to be a good trigger as well. So we can watch ES as well. If ES stops collapsing under PDH, then we know there's probably a bigger trade back down to that New York VWAP kind of area on the ES, which maybe we can get down into these two areas on Q. So I'm watching. Need pops to fail, though, for me to be interested. We'll see, folks. When I say they, it's just a way of observing the market, right? So it's, yes, you could say market makers and funds. Really what I just mean is the market, right? If I say they, the people in control of the market. If we view the market as one entity, all right? If you just view it as one big trader, it's an easier way to look at it. Yeah, effectively, it's all the funds and smart money, not ICT smart money, real smart money, real big guys positioning. Here we go. I'm watching these 50s to see if they actually have continuation. Come on, Bookmap, what are you doing? There's a balance here at 50s and then 35. So watching down here to see if we break under this and start like really getting heavy down into this sort of area here. And keep protecting this area. This is where sellers keep coming in and not getting follow through. So I'm saying I want to see a pop to be sold. Still protecting previous day high here on the ES, by the way, folks. Still protecting previous day high there on the ES. Still finding a bid there at the moment. Alex, if you need to react fast via bid ask or always stop limit orders. Yeah, I chased a little bit here. Normally I would have a stop or a limit order, and my covers would always be limit orders, but I've got hotkeys as well, right? So like if I feel like I'm not getting filled, I can either move a limit order with my mouse, or I can mark it out, or I can close all with a hotkey, or I can move break even with a hotkey. If we leave this shelf, we can get more aggressive here down into this area of 30. So we're just waiting to see this sort of previous weak point of control. We're going to start being aggressive. They're trying. So that's that first imbalance filled into 50s we just talked about. Instantly bid off 50 there. So there's an imbalance at 50. The next imbalance is down at 38 to 35. So there's a flush to 50, instantly caught. You can see on Bookmap, we had like a 70 lot at the low of that sell side who just got paired against. So they filled that imbalance and held. ES held 5-day and previous day high, still holding for now. Can we get acceptance lower? I'm eyeing this for a short, but really I don't want to chase down here. I want pops to start failing. I just wonder if they're going to leave this area at the moment. Back into this old imbalance. 35s is the next level, or 38s to 35s if we flush through. Not convinced right now. No pops that are failing, but you just wonder if they're going to roll this all the way down. Here they come. They're dirty fuckers, the way they've built this. Pardon my French. All right, imbalance coming up here, 38 to 35. Sell side is 54s. Big sellers came in versus 65. Here's that imbalance that we just talked about. Here's 38 to 35 tagged. If they trade through this, we've got a shelf here at 31 to 18s. I want pops to fail, though. ES now underneath previous day high. VIX came underneath previous day low, found a bid, possibly forms a little inverted head and shoulder here in front of 17s, a break of 17s, and we can get going on the VIX, which will increase downside pressure. Explain the imbalance. It's where participants didn't get filled on the way up. Right, it's here. It's where participants didn't get filled on the way up. Right, where we've had a big squeeze out and there's an imbalance in the market, where people are likely to be waiting to be filled. Right, so we have sell side imbalances up here, buy side imbalances down here. Okay, retesting previous week point of control. Current day point of control. So this grey shelf now important. If buyers reclaim this, squeezes on. If they reject this, then maybe we get some downside pressure. I really don't like how they built this. This is, you'll be very careful here. You need to be very careful here. Right? You need to see this here for sellers. If we do this for long enough, they're going to open this up. There are bids down at 50 still. Tricky market, tricky conditions today, I would say, how they've built this out. You still feel they want to take previous day high first? It's quite a big ask. It's possible. I have that as previous day value area high on NinjaTrader as well, but it's asking so much without a significant pullback. But it's it's possible. The way they're building out is nasty. No, I'm still not short, guys. I'm still not short. I'm watching this at the moment, though, because that last pop-up into that 65 area was interesting. Watching this now to see if we get follow through. 65 was current point of control and previous week point of control there or thereabouts. So if they sell that aggressively, I will join the tape. Back to these 50s again. They keep trying to bid down here at 50s, that old imbalance. Like I said, there's an imbalance down to 37s. I'll try and show you what I'm looking at. All right, I'm watching. We had one imbalance here. We've tapped into this one here at 37s. There's a flush point down here if we let go of the shelf, not before it. So we've got to let go of this and get through this to trade down. It's kind of messy the way they've built out all these nodes. We're going to have to be very, very careful if we're going to trade counter trend today. Reclaiming again. So this can be a two-leg, and they can rip this if they really want. So I want to be very, very, very careful here if I'm going to think about it. Into this grey box again. Patience. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Bought the open. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. I tell you what, I know I said, I gave you the areas where we might come up to. I didn't actually think we'd get up into the 900s in the first hour of trading. I'll be honest. If you thought we were going to get up to the 900s in the first hour of trading, if you thought we were going to go from 5, we're going to do like a 400-point ripper in the first hour of trading, you should be a very rich person. I didn't think we'd do it in the first hour. I thought we could potentially do it today, but not in the first hour. Footprint, man. If you're looking for imbalances, footprint. You're going to need to watch a footprint chart. You can't do it otherwise. Still rejecting up here. Let's move this down a little bit. It's like that. It's messy. It's so messy, guys. So messy. Still rejecting that POC at the moment. It's tempting. It's tempting. I just don't see the heaviness on the tape at the moment. It's very tempting to get short here and look for this wash, but I'm not convinced yet. I might have to join late, which is not ideal, but I want to be convinced that bears are turning up. Like ES isn't even under previous day high yet. VIX is still coming downside. If VIX fails to break lower, then I'll have a bit more conviction about this. Seeing some sellers step in here. Let's go then. Let's see. Here we go. Back into this same shelf into the 50s. Still got that imbalance down at 35s. See if they pop up and sell 65s here. We'll go from grey to grey for a bit probably. They're trying to step on the gas here. They're bidding 32s at the moment. Someone's coming in here. They're trying to force this under those 30s. There's that imbalance just tagged. What do we say? 38s to 35s. Do they trade through this? Through this now we go grey shelf and then we can really get going if they've got any juice. They're going to have to get through this though. Here we go. You've got to snap this. Here they go, starting to snap it. They're trying to reclaim already. Here we go. 32s. Can we get going now? Can we get going now into this grey box? Taking a little piece here just in case they're horrible with this and bid the grey box. And if we get under grey box, we're going to look for the 800s. Here we go. Let's go. Right. Covering a little bit more now because they're stacking here. They are stacking here. Come on, let's see some follow through. Come on. I want to let go of this grey box and trade straight down to 800 now. Be very careful your counter trend. Do not get oversized here. Move your stop into the money, please. It's the hardest trade in the book that I always talk about. Come on. Lots of imbalances down here into 806 down to 800. I'll be taking 90% of my position off. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. One big flush, please. We'll do it. Here we go. Here we go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I'm trying to fill some of these down into here, please. This is what I'm trying to get down into. Grey box. I want to go grey box to grey box. I want to get down into here. I'm not going to sit through a bid. They bought 34s. I'm not going to let this come back above sort of 35s. All right. They bought 34s. I don't want it back 35s. I want to use those buyers' pain. You're going to retest this level, aren't you? You're going to retest 34s. Come on. Step on it. Step on it. Step on it. Come on. Getting tight here. I do not want to get squeezed here above 34, 35s. Not going to get squeezed all the way back out to 60s here. So stop right back down. Protecting my profits here. Come on. Let's sell through. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Break this low. Got to get under 17s here. Come on. Break this low. You got to get under 17s. Get me 800s. Come on. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. We've got to break these lows to get down to 800s. Come on. Buyer stepping in at 815s. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Snap him. Please, someone step on the tape. Step on the tape here, sellers. They're bidding 15s at the moment. I want to sell through 15s. We should get that fill then down into the low 800s. Moving my stop a little bit more into the money. Don't like that. Don't like that. We can't let this go above 33, 34s. Can't let it go above 34s in my mind. Above 34s, they can rip it to 60. So stop down there right now, protecting this. We'll be in the money no matter what. There we go, out. Not going to get caught in a squeeze up. Can always add back in on a move back to 60s if they stay heavy. Yeah, decent trade, not bad. I don't want to get caught in this squeeze now, right? So they're reclaiming the 34s. There's a big buyer came in at 34s, all right? So if they reclaim this, they can come and visit up here, all right? So the next rotation will be here to here or here to here, all right? So I don't want to get caught in the rotation. Remember, short, there's the rejection, all right? And rotate, and we can build out liquidity here. Need to respect each level right now because buyers have been in control. We've been in a buyer's market this morning. Remember, this can be like this and go higher. So we have to be proactive. We don't know, maybe it collapses, maybe we get lucky, but we have to be of the mindset that they can very well trap and come back up. So we have to be proactive with the covers this morning. Nice, guys. Yeah, lots of you got that with me. Oh, if they do it now, you fucking... They're going to do it now. You absolute arses. Here they go. Oh! How many days in a row? How many days in a row they're going to knock a runner out for me and then do it? All right, imbalances are 806 to 800s. All right, 806 to 800s. Basically, this here, right? You want to be covering into this, right? Because we expect this probably. We haven't had like a higher time frame shift. Alex, do you trade props or your own live personal? I have both. Do I have different rule sets for each? Probably a bit more aggressive with props once I get through buffers. Most of my personal I use for swing positions. So we can have a look. What one of my swings at the moment? So still swing long Apple since like August last year, up 50% on AMD still. Smaller size than that. I did trim 80% of my position before Christmas. Amazon up 9.56%. Meta I'm up 14.86% on. Open I'm still up 153%. I've got one share left on Open, folks. As we all know, I sold all of it when I was 500% up on that. That's my only positions. I'm waiting for this market to give a big old tank and pull back for me to take some bigger swing long positions. I moved off Replicanto. I would advise you use affordable indicators now. Links are probably down below, but if not, I will post it in. I would say that it's a one-time fee. It's a little bit more stable. Replicanto's moved to a different format. And let me post it in chat for you guys. I think you'll get a little bit of money off this. I don't know. I'm not up to date with it. I'm sorry. I'm really bad at keeping up to date with everything like that. And where's the chat? So this is affordable indicators there. All right, that's who I would use if I was you. Okay, they're still holding this grey box. So grey to grey can be a rotation. It can be a rotation. I'm waiting to see if VIX can start doing that sort of inverse head and shoulders, which will help. So if we're thinking about, what I'd want to see for Confluence, right? If VIX can start breaking above this, right? If we have wicked out previous day low into the IB, if we're going to do this move on VIX up into here, this will help our short thesis on the market. So I'm waiting to see if they're willing to do that on VIX at the moment. Yes, that's for copy trading. I mean, you can use it for, there's got all sorts on there, but they have a very good trade copier on there. You can trade all prop firms. You can set targets for like your evals. So if you're aggressive with some and not others, you can chart on NQ but trade on MNQ without having to change your charts. Here you go. Still looking for that imbalance at I'm out of this, by the way, folks. This is still looking for that imbalance at 806 and 800s. So your cover points are still into this next grey box, right? And if you get lucky, you'll get VWAP here. That would be a hell of a trade, all right, for you guys that get this short position. Where's my short? All right, something like this here, other side of the node. If you get really lucky, you'll get this move down into here. That would be an 82 pointer. But I'd be covering lots into here, right, into this pocket here. You should have already covered some. I got knocked out on the runners. And if you get lucky, you get into here, maybe even this, if you get very, very lucky. Move this here so you can see. But I would definitely be covering some 806s down to 800s, right? 806s, and then see if you can get all the way down. Here you come. You're almost there. So congrats. If you're in this, you're now into this low volume node. So you should be trying to take some partials into this deep pullback flow zones, all right? So they might very well bid around here. So you want to be more aggressive in terms of your stop. VIX trying to do that inverse head and shoulder breakout. I'm waiting to see if we can break 1690 17s here on VIX. Here you go. Imbalances now. 806s. You're starting to trade into the imbalances we just talked about. Right here. Okay, into these. You're trading into these. These are cover points for you. If you get lucky, you'll come all the way down, but these are cover points for you. Alex, you mentioned about a big trade indicator, a Ninja Trader. Big trade? I'm not sure what you mean. Do you mean big orders? Maybe you mean this. You can get it for free using the order flow. If you go on my YouTube, there is a video on how to get free order flow for Tradeify and Ninja Trader, and I show you how to do it on there. There's a video on my YouTube. Right, back to grey box. So if you need a rejection of this to trade down into this shelf. If you do not reject this grey box, this is the same story as we had here. Grey box to grey box. Grey box towards grey box. You need to reject this and do this and then this. Otherwise, we're going to go level to level, right? Level to level. We trade level to level, level to level, level to level, level to level. But your TP was in here. I think I said sixes to 800s, and then runners down to here. So you got sixes, you got under sixes, and grey box is starting to be reclaimed. If they reclaim this, I would expect to squeeze back up to 60s. Pro trend is long today, remember? Pro trend is long. You would want ES to reject previous day high here. VIX failed to break out that inverse head and shoulders we just talked about. So just wait to see if it can still do it. We've got about 50 minutes left to trade here together. Oh, I feel like a bit of a muggins today. I'm going to be honest. Why couldn't they have built this out a little bit better for us? Maybe I should have been more aggressive on dips here. I didn't like the look of this. I look at that now and just think, shoulda, woulda, coulda. This was almost there for me. And then what a drive that would have been. Hey-oh. It happens. Any of you who just buy flow zones, well, you just had a great day. If you just buy the flow zones, you had a great day. If you sell the flow zones, you had a great day. They are giving you absolute golden opportunities today. Previous week, point of control, which time included? What's the whole week? I mean, I think I drew it on the hourly, but it's the whole week. No worries. Well done, guys. Yeah, I mean, we're not actually a trending market. On this session, you can say, yeah, we're bullish trending market, but actually we're not a trending market. We're completely the opposite to a trending market. If you zoom out, actually, let's just go on to a daily. Right, we are not a trending market right now. Right, we're clearly the opposite of a trending market. We are boxed. Same box we've been in since November 5th. All right, fail to look underneath, fail to get above, fail to come underneath, fail to come underneath, fail to get above, fail to come underneath. Trap between the Bollingers. We are anything but trending market, which is why I wanted to be very careful today. If we reclaim this level, then it means we haven't undercut. They can still sell this and come down. If we reclaim this level, we can still consider longs if they start expanding, but they're going to make this very, very tricky. They don't know what they want to do with it right now. But I tell you what, we can't do this from November 5th forever. One way or another, this is going to get nasty. And the longer we stay here, the 200-day you can see now, it's starting to really catch up. There might be an event where we can just scoop this and they do something horrible. But we are not going to do this forever, guys. At some point, someone is going to lose. I don't know which side yet. And anyone who tells you it's going to be this side or the other, no, we don't know which side yet. We don't. Bears had control coming into this session. All they had to do was reject this and come for this undercut and look for these stops. That's all Bears had to do. Did they do it? No, they failed. All right, so now we're back at this old point of control. It's not only an old point of control. If we look at the volume for the last year, all right, this is a year's worth of volume. We are in a huge, huge node here. If we find acceptance over this node and the bulls start going, we can do big drives out, all right? We can do this for the rest of the year. It's asking for us to find acceptance. We can get up into 28,000 this year, all right? But it's got to get outside of this. So I don't have a bias right now. I'm willing to play both sides of the tape until we move outside. Volatile. Yeah, volatile's definitely true, right? Definitely true. All right, so they're starting to reclaim. So grey box to grey box. So that pullback held. So if we think about this from a fib, remember we talked about this earlier. Where did we held? Right into the 618. They're starting to hold this. So they're going to go grey box to grey box. And if they find acceptance over this, then this will be considered a huge bullish momentum to try and get up into here. If they fail this, fail back under, we go between here, fail that here. But I almost find it unlikely that we come down to this at this point today. I don't see why they would profit take on a Monday after positioning this way, but we will see. We will see. It looks pretty bullish overall. So TP1 hit here. So that's your first trade. Decent trade today. That hit. And now we just see. It is possible rotation between these grey boxes. We've definitely got a lot of stops at those highs if it really wants to go for them. Do I use previous days high volume nodes or use developing nodes as SNR? Both. And ideally they match up well together. Same with previous weeks. They all matter. But if you look at where we're trading into like the previous week right now, you guys, right? This even from the open, this is from the Sunday open. Look at the amount of liquidity we're building up here already. Right, this is huge. If we leave this move here is highly probable at some point this week. Right, this was where we clearly broke out just before New York Open. Right, we've never come back to retest any of this. This will happen. I would imagine this will happen at some point this week, even if we're going to be bullish from there. And we can use these nodes here. So we're here, 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 and then thick here. So if we leave this, that rotation is possible. I'm looking at multiple timeframes all the time, trying to see where the edge is. Right now, it feels bullish. 61 pullback of this. Bullish, but you know, we've got trap volume above head now for the first time today. And we're inside the initial balance. We're in a rotational market on the day. But we are starting to find a bid above previous day value area high. It's possible that 920 is a level that we want to visit today. On NT, I have that as a previous day value area high. I don't know what some of you have, but that's what I've got. If I look at, bring this over, right, I have this as a big level from previous day value area high from Friday. I don't have the same on TradingView, so there's a divergence or discrepancy between TradingView and NinjaTrader. But you can see at the moment we're just trading in the previous day value. No acceptance underneath, no acceptance under previous week. Trading inside previous day. If we find acceptance above 920, then 26,050s is possible. And previous day high, previous day opens up here as well. So we just have to see, folks. It's been a big drive this morning, though. I'll say that much. It's been a huge drive. Call it a box. Are you ever inclined to trade this, or do you solely interested in continuation? Yeah, absolutely. I will trade. I do trade it. It's just not my favorite setup, but I do trade it. Absolutely. I don't trade it on swing positions, though. I will not trade the box on swing positions. I would rather look for a break and a retest on a swing position. Alex, what's your win rate? You are break even usually at worst. Can you talk about that? You don't. Be humble. You earn all you get. I normally shoot between like 67 and 73% win rate, but like I've talked, I do say this a lot of time. I think that is probably skewed. Why? Because I am day trading, happy to move my stop break even or break even +1. So even those trades which have, let's call it positive delta in terms of win rate, they're really flat trades, aren't they? Right. So I could have a one tick positive 100 times, and it would have 100% win rate. But the reality is, it's a break even trade. So sometimes I think those are a little bit skewed. I'll be honest. You'll see me on stream take a lot of break evens before I get the move. Sometimes I don't get the move. Sometimes it goes without me, like Friday. All right, back to grey box. So grey box to grey box. If they reclaim this, so this is a 61 fib hold. They reclaimed. We go back to grey box through this. If they get acceptance over 75s, they're going to come up here for the 900s. So this can be a big bullish play. This can be a two-leg pullback. All right, this is what we're looking like at the moment. I would say sort of something like this. All right, and then they have to decide, are you going to reject this down or are they going to do this move here for the continuation? Yeah, I hope that makes sense on the win rate. So I'm just being honest with you because I don't want you to think, oh, like 67% of the time I get 100 or 200 point trade. That's just not the case. What it means to me is I don't lose 67% of the time. I kind of see it the other way. I don't trade gold. I take swing positions. I'm waiting to see if we see failed follow through at the moment. I can show you what I'd like to see on gold and silver if you're interested on swing positions. All right, one I want to see is a pullback. All right, if I'm going to really think about the short, I want to see a pullback somewhere into here, and I want to see buyers get stuck, and then I'm going to take an ETF short position. If they get stuck, if we leave these buyers stuck, I'm going to take a position down to here. I'm going to trim a big piece of it, and then I'm just going to see if the market wants to drift lower. Macro wise, it can very well bid up, right? Macro environment, we might very well do this. But at the moment, the dollar's getting stronger, which means we might rotate back out of this. A lot of this depends on what the Asian markets do. You understand the macro environment. I'm not going to day trade gold and silver, but I will look for some swing positions if it makes sense to me. What does the Ninja footprint indicator cost? I can't remember. I think it's like $300 or $400, something like that. I think I've got like a 5 or a 10% discount code. It's tiny. It's from Twin Peaks. So let me. Where are you guys again? That's it there. I just posted if you want that one. Do I find affordable indicators is responsive? Yes, very. Well, the thing is, if you're using TradeSync or stuff like that, you're asking for lag because it has to go via a web-based platform. I think that's the problem. Currency flipper. Yeah, so the Pro is what I'm using here. The Pro is like the upgrade. So with the Pro, you get like Globex, opening range. I'm trying to think what else is the difference. There's basically just a few more levels in the Pro indicator. Oh, and the candle repaint as well. Candle repaint, which you don't get in the one that comes with the course. But you don't have to upgrade. You can always upgrade later. But the one in the course is still sufficient. It still works very, very well. I prefer me personally, Miles. I prefer Delta for footprint. I don't watch bid ask. Me personally, I prefer Delta. All I really ever care about, if I'm looking for a trap player, is Delta. All right. So if this pullback now holds this, we talk about this next rotation. So if the pullbacks now hold this, they're going to try and get up to here, aren't they? If they fail this, this is a look above to take the stops, and this becomes possible. This is why the shelves matter. But overall, we're bullish. We talked about this. All right, held this, starting to reclaim. This can be a rotation, and if they get through this, then we'll leave all these sellers trapped. If they fail this, then this can rotate back down to here. Is my preference lower win rate, higher RR? Yeah, that's my, for me, basically, yes, is the answer to that, Dave. Even though I show a high win rate, like I talk about, a lot of those are break evens. But if you joined me on stream last week, you would have seen we had multiple 100, 250 point trades together. So, but we will only get that when the market conditions are there for it. We won't get it all the time. Somewhat surprised we've ripped as hard as we have today. Exactly, Dean. If this, then that. if this happens, then we do this. If this happens, then we do this. That's how the market moves. Not we do this. No such thing. Right, so holding grey. So if they keep holding this, they are going to try and rotate in towards these 890s. I will tell you, the buyer still got stuck at 900s. 95s is key, but 900s is where we have like some outlying delta. Let me have a look up here on level 2. Where's 900? Yeah, so you can see if you come up to, let me pull this over. Can I pull this over to you guys? If we pull this up to 900s, you can see this here, a 380 lot and a 298 lot, all right? Those are buyers, market buyers who got stuck up there. That's the big level. Sellers will not want it above that. They will want to use their pain to move lower. So 900s is a big, big level. Does trading view value area high, value area low, point control move slightly different if you switch from 30 to 5? Yes, it does. It does. You want to be in the lowest time frame chart possible, which is why I do my daily levels based on a 1 minute chart. This is so after today, I mark them out based on this, right? But if you're looking at like the weeklies, yes, I do it on the hourly or 30 minutes. Sometimes it's probably a little bit off, but it's there or thereabouts. The same as you, I take multiple break-even trades, but then I get 3 or 4R and have no issue taking profits one-to-one, slightly more. There you go, exactly. I think that's the best way to do it. For me personally, that's how I like to manage my trades. I don't want to look for no, these traders who look for 20 ticks or like 3 or 5 points. Like it's too stressful, man. It's too stressful. How apt are you to trade back into a fair value gap when it presents immediately? I mean, I don't trade fair value gaps, so that's not what I do. Did I take the trade today? Yeah, the main trade I took. Where did I get knocked out? Somewhere here to here, or was it here to here? I can't remember where it was now. I have to look on my screen. One of these shorts. I had a couple attempts at shorts. Waiting to see if there's another setup. All right, while this sets up, let me use the bathroom. Come right back. Let's try and get another 250 likes, 260 likes. I want to give away a course, introduction course. So start holding this grey box. We just talked about this. So those of you who wanted to be long this grey box after this buy signal, you're looking for this move into here. Like I talked about, 900 is a big, big, big level where the buyers got stuck. Over 900, we can see a squeeze. 920s will be your target over 900. Here's the 900 lot. Right, so we're coming into 900 now. This is where the buyer got stuck. We talked about him being stuck. We talked about this player up here being stuck right here, this blue line. You see this blue line? This is the player that's stuck. If you get above him, we can think about 920 all the way up here. But 920 is a big level that shorts will not want this market to trade through. All right, I will be right back. Let me use the bathroom. All right, so you can see that player at 900 still holding the market up. So he got break even on that push up, back down to grey box. So grey box to grey box rotation again. Overall conditions are pretty bullish here if we think about how we build out, but we have to see. This was the tag. We talked about the 900, didn't we? We talked about the guy at 900. So do they hold between here and allow this to 920s? Or do you now fail this shelf after letting this guy out? And do you come back to here? Those are the opportunities. Those are the current opportunities. Right. How are we doing for likes? Can we do some giveaways? Okay, back down to point your control. This grey box again. I'll announce it live, big Pinoodle, don't worry. Blake, thank you. Thank you for joining. How to deal with a fair value gap and how to find it. I mean, okay. If you're adamant on using it, it's just this gap, all right? It's between two candles. It's not how I trade, but there is actually an imbalance in this one, all right? So if it's a 3-candle structure, that's all a fair value gap is. When do they work best? When you've seen a squeeze. You see this candle here? 1 candle, large candle, engulfing candle, second candle. It's the imbalance left between the two. There was a genuine imbalance in this one. So what does it mean? Is the other way of putting it. If we've ripped, there's lots of limit orders sat in this price waiting to support the bid, which is also in a shelf, right? So they're hoping that it comes down so they can get filled to come up. That's how you would use it. It's more accurate if you're using order flow. All right, they're coming back again. So they held grey box to grey box, grey box to grey box. Think about what we are starting to shape up here. Think about this liquidity. Think about how they came down. Think about how we build out this liquidity. Think about what it opens if we run the stops. Think about where you're trying to get to, 920. All right, and then if you get lucky, up here to the 26,000s. All right, we've drawn this out numerous times. You're starting to see when we were down here, I was saying how we might shape up. They're trying to do it. Massive level is the 900. Okay, I cannot tell you enough. It's a huge level. 95 is also a big level, but 900 is massive. You get over 900, you've really got a shot. You have really got a shot. Dave, love the way you trade, brother. Order flow has been a huge help to me these last few months. I'm closing up my personal and props on a positive note. Best of luck. Nice work, Dave. Congratulations. I'm glad it's helped. Thanks for today, 50 points. Awesome. All right, watching these 900s. Watching ES into IB high. VIX new low of day. You're in short. Do I think you should hold this trade? Probably not. Well, I don't know where you're short from for a start. We're starting to build quite a big P shape here. When I think about the profile, like building a huge P shape is very bullish. Where do I think it wants to go? 920 and then up into these if it can. If we can't get above the 900s, it would be a fail break. But I wouldn't be shorting up into this. I'd be waiting to see if it fails and then leaves players trapped. At the moment, it's not leaving players trapped, is it? The counter trend leg we talk about, there's the counter trend leg. Held the pivot, Remember, that was a 61 fib from here to here, right? And they're buying this, and they're trying to do that inverted head and shoulders look for that squeeze out. If they're going to do a squeeze out, we can measure this to see where they could possibly go to, and if it lines up with 920 or one of the other levels. Trying to get, at the moment, 980, but measured move will get you to previous day's high. Possible. It's possible. Oh, Aaron, that's absolutely incredible. Aaron is still holding longs from New York. Congratulations, Aaron. That is absolutely massive. Trader Rick, thanks for joining. Appreciate you. Use my code for Apex. Oh, thanks very much. Yeah, like all the codes are down beneath. Guys, you'll see it running underneath. Helps me do this stream for free. So code FCT for all your favorite prop firms. Other than for take profit, you need to use code FlowZone there. But everything's underneath chat, right? So if you want to support the stream, you can buy a membership for $5 a month, like some guys have kindly done here, or you can just use one of my codes, and that just allows me to do this stream for free. They're still trying to build out this liquidity. Grey to grey, grey to grey. Hopefully it makes sense for you guys, especially those who are new. What volume profile am I using? This is anchored volume profile. Anchored volume profile. Anchored to the New York Open. Got 200 points today. 520 times 5 PAs. Adding footprint has really helped me a ton. It feels impossibly easy now. Nice work, man. Nice work. Can we expect more downside? It is possible, but let me just measure this on a daily. We're right into the 618 on a daily. It's one thing I want to be aware of. All right, so we're not in. Let me take you over here. One thing I'm aware of just right now, obviously we're coming into this shelf, is this. From last week's higher week to the current low of day, right, we're trading right into the 618. Is downside possible? It is. Is upside possible? It is. Why do I not have a bias? Because we're boxed in, all right? We're not seeing acceptance under here. We're not seeing acceptance above here, all right? I'm willing to play longs above here. I'm willing to play big shorts above here, as in bigger positions. In here is just a range, right? We're still inside that range until we prove otherwise. At the moment on the day, we're very bullish. Very, very bullish, but we're into a big level. I wouldn't want to be a buyer up here, but it's got to get through 900. What do you think are the conditions required for lower prices? You will need trapped buyers. All right, you're going to need some like serious trapped buyers, aren't you? Even if we're thinking about here on like a 5 minute, right? You're going to need to see something like a drive up where you have market buyers, whether they be breakout buyers or stops popped. And then you're going to need to see this liquidity here left for that trade downside. Until that point, you're not going to see it. At the moment, there's no buyers stuck. Remember, buyers been entering all the way up. Everything's fine, right? They're trying to get up into here. But if you see a failed breakout and then we leave the shelf, then maybe you get this move, this reversion. Doesn't have to happen today. It might be tomorrow, it might be Wednesday, it might never happen at all. We don't know, folks, okay? I can only trade what sets up in front of me. Same as you guys. You can only trade what's in front of you. Doesn't matter what you think, matters what happens. All right, we just tapped into that trap buyer at 900 again. All right, so that big delta that we've talked about, you can even see it on Bookmap. We drove right into his level, right here, into the 900, and we've just trapped a little bit more there again. So if we come up here on the left-hand side, you can see 379 lot and a 377 lot with huge amount of transactions, but delta is stuck at 900. Buyers are still stuck at 900 and above right now. Simple as that. how can I get your indicators on TradingView? Which indicators? The flow zones. Just head over to my website, flowzonetrader.com. Right, 800 likes. Let's give away a course. I haven't set it up yet, so don't do anything yet, guys. Give away a very, very introductory course. If you're brand new to trading, if you've never traded before, this is good for you. It's only 2 hours long. It's very, 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 very basic. Okay, if you know what you're doing already, you're going to find this is way too easy. You can always give it to a friend, but it does give you a little discount on the main course. All right, so just type course once in chat. Please only type it once. Please don't spam. You will be pulled out if you spam. Just type it once. Just type course, and we will pick a winner at random. Jerome, I've just seen your email. Just replying to you now and get you in the team. Sorry, my friend, just seen it. Looks like they're going to try and lift 900. They're having another go here to come through 900 and squeeze this through 920s and above right now. Give you guys like another 30 seconds here and we'll pull the winner. What is the code for 90% discount on Apex? FZT is the code. Links are down below. FZT. Okay. I'm going to pull this winner. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Mr. Slim. Mr. Slim, are you here? Mr. Slim ZV6SC. Mr. Slim, let me know you're here in chat. Nice. Congratulations, Mr. Slim. Okay, all I need you to do is send me an email, please. I'm making a note of your name. info@flowzonetrader.com. And I just want you to send me a screenshot of you logged into your YouTube, please. All right, just a screenshot of you logged in. And then I know it's you. Yeah, guys, there's no Apex giveaway right now. It's answering someone's question. What is the volume profile indicator? Anchored volume profile. Anchored volume profile. Anchored volume profile. You guys are jumping the gun. You're going to have to wait. We need more likes. Okay, there's the flush. So can't get through 900. Back down to this grey box again. They just go back and forth until they make their mind up. Back to point of control on the session again. 20 minutes left. Hello from Afghanistan. Hello, my friend. Box to box again, yeah. If they lose this box, we probably come all the way back down here. So they failed 900. 900 is the big level. So we keep talking about buyers are stuck at 900 right now. So you'll be watching if they lose this and rotate here. If they lose this whole thing, right, then there's a bigger flush in this market. They'd have to lose the whole thing. Back to POC. So this pullback, do they absorb this pullback now into this 50% kind of mark and try and get back upside again? It's possible. It's very possible. VIX trying to find a little bit of a bid. Messy up here, I would say. Right into that VPOC again. Watching this tape to see if they sell through these 60s, because this is where the guy keeps trying to absorb it here or hereabouts on that pullback. Still absorbing in these grey boxes. Delta's diverging. Let me have a look. We're just sideways, really. Nah, it's okay. Like, you're not seeing Delta break that old low. We're not breaking this old low. It looks the same to me. There's a lower high. We haven't broken out. It's there or thereabouts. There's no huge divergence yet in my mind on Delta. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. All the new members. Fantastic. And we drive back up towards this next grey box again. And again, they're going to try and get through the 900s. That's where they need to get through. If they can't get through the 900s, they will continue to be stuck up there, the buyers. VIX is underneath previous day low. Kind of messy at the moment. Do I trade every day? Yeah, I do. Monday to Friday, 9:15 Eastern, all the way into lunch. Am I a male or female? Fucking incredible. I don't think you should be trading if you can't work that out. The indicator on the right side, no, it's a tool. It's not even, if you come up to here, right in here, go into projections, anchored volume profile. It's for free. It's a tool. It's not custom. So anchored volume profile, it's a tool. It's not even an indicator. It's a drawing tool. Yeah. Oh, they were asking someone else. Right. Yeah. It's still pretty weird to put in a chat. Did you go over the awards show last night? Oh, I haven't watched any of it, actually. Back down again. This is the same level I keep talking about, the 60s. If they don't absorb this, there's a flush down here into 40s and 30s again. So it really depends what they're trying to do with this at the moment. Remember, this is like it can still be the pullback. The fact that we're not breaking 900s is good for sellers, but the structure is better for buyers right now. The fact that we're not breaking the 900s is good for sellers. We're leaving buyers trapped up here. But it's when I look through here right now, right, there is a shove down into here, but we'd have to let go of absolutely everything. That's your first lower high and fail breakout, but they can still scoop this and go. So like overall structure remains bullish on the day. Remember, the high of day was the 61 fib based on the daily that we went over. Here we go. So they're back into this previous week point of control again. Do they flush this now down to 40s is the question, or do they re-scoop? They're still trying to protect this area. It's the same area. Down into the 40s, possible here if they want to fill these imbalances. Possible. I think we could go grey to grey. Awkward into lunch, 15 minutes left. Remember, I'm always looking at the higher time frames. If you go from a high of week last week to the low of the Globex low, you will see that we are already in quite an interesting area, right? If we do this, right into the 61. This is the golden pocket that they will want to sell. So it just depends. Do they start here or do they let it through into the 26-100s? Big question. But I don't know if they do this today, but I'd imagine in the next few days, something like this is coming. And then the question is, do they bid back up, or is that just a huge stop hunt and a collapse? Why don't I trade ES? Why should I trade ES? Everyone wants to say, like, why don't you do this? Why don't you do this? You give me a reason why I should. If the volatility's here really good, and if I'm reading it really well, why should I look at another screen? That's what I want to know. Why? If I like the personality of the asset I'm trading, here you go, into the 40s, like we just talked about. So into these imbalances, all the way down to 33s, and then this grey box again can be present. We can move this up about a little bit into here. Grey box to grey box again. And if we get acceptance under all of this, there's a bigger fade. All right, if they leave, if this is a fail breakout, remember that's a 61 fib on the daily. That's a fail breakout. If they're stuck over 900s, if they let go of this, this is open, but they need to trade underneath all of this. Otherwise, they can range here all day long, right? We can see it's a big P shape, right? They can range here all day long. The volatility and range is too big on NQ. For you, maybe, not for me. That's a personal choice, isn't it? And surely, if the volatility is big and the range is good, surely that equals opportunity. So surely what you're saying is you need to have good risk management. And if you've got good risk management and a good understanding of levels, NQ is a great asset to day trade. Great asset to day trade. I would say the spider is a better asset to swing trade because you're going to get knocked out less. You just got to understand the personality. But you do what's right for you. Okay. We bid this back up towards these 60s again then. Here we go. There's the bid back up to 60. We've got 10 minutes left. Yes, right here. There you go. So ticks per row, 2 ticks per row. If you want it on number of rows, I would set this to 1000, and then I change this to width to 20% and placement on the right. All right, that's it. Simple, simple, simple. All right, here's the bid back to 60s and this same area again. And if they don't resell this area, then we're going to go back to 80s, and through 80s, we're going to try and revisit 900s and 920s. They're rolling fibs. What's your name? Dandid? Rolling fibs. They're EMA rolling fibs. I call them my flow zones, but they're rolling fibs. No worries, man. All right, box to box, box to box. Building liquidity, about 100 points liquidity being built out up here. If you're a range trader, this might be your bread and butter. This is not an area I want to trade in right now, all right? Certainly not an area I want to long in, is it? Do I want to long here? Right, no. This is not an area I want to long in. We're probably due a pullback. It doesn't have to happen today. If we get above and base, then I'll consider that long. Afternoon or tomorrow, more preferable. Down here, this short down into here, and if they base, I'll consider that long as well. If we lose this, then I'll consider that short. I want to be very careful trading in this range here. Anyone that read the newsletter, this is the same thing as last week. We want to be very careful trading in here. We can trade away from it. We can trade away from it. This is a liquidity building part of the market, right? And it's not just from this day. We can go back here, look at all these previous weeks. Oh my God, look at all the liquidity being built at this area, okay? I don't want to be the liquidity. I want to use the liquidity. That requires patience. Been stuck here for a long time now, since November, really. I just bought Take Profit Trader. Do I have to make a trade for 5-day and pass the eval before I go pro if I pass it? I don't understand what you're saying, buddy. All you've got to do is it's a 50% consistency rule, right? So you can pass it in 2 days, but you need to just rotate like a micro 3, 4, 5, day 3, 4, and 5. But you can't pass it quicker than 5 days. You can take as long as you want to pass it. What are the most important key levels for me? Untested areas of volume, probably. So daily and weekly levels. The higher the time frame, the more important it is. So highs and lows and gap fill closures, and then big volume levels. Do I know how the 30% thing on Apex works? I always get confused. I get a message rule on my broker. Do you mean the 30% consistency rule? Yeah, one winning day cannot be worth more than 30% of your overall profit. That's how it works. That's very kind of you. That's very kind of you, Joanno. Thank you for saying that. Do I think big orders on bookmaps are better to think about as magnets for price as potential areas for bounces? It's a good question. We can use them as liquidity drives. Like, they're just resting liquidity. They don't always work that way. I use them to see, like, are they serious? Like, this person's not serious. They're jostling up and down, right? Look at the flashing on the bookmap above me. They're just jostling up and down in price. I don't see these guys as like serious participants. But there was a serious bid on the market today who has stepped in numerous times chasing price up. All right, so there have been some serious bids on the market today, but you can use them as magnets, but you can't guarantee we're going to get there. What you can use it is definite liquidity. It's absolute liquidity. All right, so we can use highs and lows as areas of estimate where liquidity might be, but on using Bookmap, you actually know where that liquidity is. Mr. Slim, info@flowzonetrader.com, please, mate. Info@flowzonetrader.com. %30 drawdown. Oh, it's the same thing. You can't lose more than 30%. It's the same thing in one given day. All right, Jake. Yeah, I'll try and do it today, mate. Jake, you got to understand, I'm going through a lot of stuff right now. I'm having to, look after members of the course and trade and make my own money and family stuff. And you want me to listen to music? I'll do what I can, bud, but I am limited on time. Okay, so inverse head and shoulders are going to come back for this 900 again for another attempt to get through the 900s. If they get through 900, you will get 920. VIX new low of day here. Where in Bookmap do I see the big orders? Resting orders are the horizontal lines, and big orders which are filled on the book. Market orders are the bubbles. Nice, mate. Good work. How do you get volume profile to stick to the right hand side? We just went over it. You have to use anchored, and you need to do placement to the right. All right, here's the squeeze. So back up towards the sort of 900 level is where they are attempting to get to. All right, we're in the range being built out here. You can see this sort of area here. They're trying to get to 900s and then 920s for that break if they can do it. But you are in a big old box here, 100-point box, right here. This is where you are. This is your rotation. You've gone box to box to box to box, maybe to box. If they find acceptance, it will have to be over 900, 920. But on a daily, you're right into a 61 fib. They're trying to lift it into these 900s at the moment. So some of you saying you're long from down here, you look pretty good. So I'd just be very careful as you come into here. If you get through 900 and you get through high of day, I would definitely be taking a partial, and then you're looking for 920. I would say that there is a chance to get up here. We did the measured move, remember, there is a chance. It doesn't have to do it, doesn't have to do it today, but if they're going to complete the measured move, it lines up perfectly with that previous day high into 26,020. It's possible. It's possible. Not probable, it's possible. They've built out a huge amount of liquidity here. If they get a break and a hold, it's possible. But you're getting very close to lunchtime now. 3 minutes to go. So here they go. They're trying to get through this sell side imbalance here. Break of 90 should get you up to 900s. Here you go. So coming up to the 900s. Through the 900s, you're looking at 920s. I would take a partial for the break of high of day. You need to get through the 900s. And if you get through that, then this is where you're going to try and go, right? So if those of you who bought dips there, the only other option now, you would need a base above this to do this, all right? So those of you who bought dips here, I would take a partial here, and hopefully you get this move. Just be very careful of a clear out and a fail, which is why you're going to lock some in. What the blue and turquoise waves and the green one. This is my deep flow zone pullback. These are rolling fibs, so the deep flow zone pullback. These are people that play deep pullbacks. They will bid on this like deeper pullback zone, and people who are playing momentum are playing the lower cloud. Okay, so you're watching these 900s. Nothing's changed. Remember, the buyer has been caught at 900. We can see him on the tape there, 377 and 379. That's the size of the lot. So you've got almost 800 lots who have been caught at 900. If he gets lifted out, I should say, then you might get a break of high of day, and then you want to watch into sort of the 18 and 20 level. VIX new lower day. You look good, those of you who are long. Just manage your position carefully. You're coming up into lunch in 2 minutes. Here we go. They're going to try and get you up into these 900s now. Here you go. There's the spike into 900. So they've cleared him out. Make sure you're locking some in. ES new high of day here. Right, make sure you are locking some in here. The only thing left now is 920, and then up here, I don't think we'll get above this, 26,020. So 920, and then there's 100 points if they can base. But this might be the edge. Remember, this is the 61% fib on the big daily. So you have only got this left. Otherwise, you should be out a decent size of your position through the 900s. See that spike through 900 and instantly back under it. You need it to get back above 900s if you're holding. Closed at 900. Yeah, nice. I would say you can hold like a little runner in case you get going, but you want to move your stop positively up. Like so, if any of you bought the dips, you know, grey box to grey box again, isn't it? So you'd want this to hold 74s, 75s now, right? But you're into lunch. So the rotation can be here again, or they can hold this low volume node. And ideally, they do this for you. 20 is the level, and then through that here. You can see we cannot get a close through 900. We would have, now we've just added even more bullish players trapped. See this big blue line? This is where they're trapped. All right, and if we have a look here, we'll probably see, there you go, an imbalance left out there. So they keep buying up here and getting stuck. They need to find acceptance through this. Through this, you're going to go 920. Right, through this high of day, you're looking for 920. So if you're holding runners, you're looking for 920 and then 26,020. 920 and then 26,020. I'll stay with you a couple more minutes just so we can manage this trade for those of you who are in it. Thanks, R. Cooper. Appreciate that, mate. All right, here you go. So can you bid over grey box and get to 920 and then 26,020? 920 and 26,020. You're almost there. New low of day, VIX still going lower. This looks like a very good ABCD type of breakout pattern on a 5 minute on the QQQ here. It's got a shot at going. You're just going to need to be very careful of a fail break, a swipe of 920 and a duck. Here you go. So here comes the 920 coming up. So make sure it's right here. So it's actually 18 as the actual exact level. So you want to be taking a partial into this. So 920 was almost there. 2 ticks short. We hit 19.50. And the only thing left is for you to hold a runner all the way up to 26,020. All right, they've done the damage. They have done the damage. There's a 100-point rotation in here. Failed to break lower. They held. They never even did a pullback here for you to buy. But there we go. TP1, well, TP1 900, 920, TP2, and up here TP3. Now you can hold for a 100-point lift here, right? Based on the measured move, based on the previous day high, it is possible. It's also possible they do a fail break. So for the afternoon, if you're going to hold, you're looking for a measured move into this previous day high, basically 26,020. If they do a failed break, where would I not hold beyond? If they pop up here and fail under here, do not rebid it, right? Be done with it, because they can just take all their profits off, right? If they pop and fail, they can take all their profits off into end of day. Remember, we're very thin, right? We're very thin down here. This is a straight leg up and then sideways. So if they fail to continue and they lose this consolidation, they will drop it. So you do not want to be short on this until we leave volume, and we're not doing that. We've just created a ton of volume. We're using it at the moment. Why 2020? Previous day value area high based on NinjaTrader. All right. So previous day value area high right here. So that's what we've just swiped into. And then up here is previous day high. This right here, previous day high. So 920 is previous day value area high. Previous day high is 26,020. That's why. I know I have previous day value area high down here, but it's different on NinjaTrader for whatever reason, so I respect both. They're both key levels, and they've both been respected. The one Dave, 855 entry, 955 exit for me, locked in partial profits. 855 entry, so you were long probably on this side of it, which would be a good long. So dip, reclaim, hold 855, and you're looking for 955, you're looking for a 100-point move, but you've locked in partials. Really good. Nice work. I'd move your stop up in the money now. No matter what, you don't want it to come under this now. Where you entered long, you don't want it under this shelf. Any back test, ideally it holds here or holds here. So you can make sure that you're going to lock in money on that runner no matter what. Possible short. The only possible short will be a fail break if they trap buyers. You're not seeing that right now. Remember, buyers are now in control from that 900. Remember, the delta we talked about a million times was 900. We talked about here. All right, buyers have been stuck above there or at there all morning. Right, they kept getting stuck, and now you've gone above them. So if we find acceptance above it, what does that mean? Well, no buyer is stuck. So why would you want to be short if there's no buyer stuck? Right, if they're all in control, then you don't want to be short, do you? Right, this whole premise that newer traders have, oh, it's up too high. It doesn't matter, or it's into a key level. It doesn't matter. Like, it's what happens after that, right? We mark out the level. What happens next? What's the reaction at that level? Really nice, folks. Okay, how many of you are here? Can we get a few more likes, please, guys? And then we're going to give away an Apex account. It is lunchtime. I really want to give a Apex account away to you guys. Okay, so what we're going to do, code FCT, that's the code to use for most of the prop firms. You want to use code FCT, always get you the best sale. Other than Take Profit Trader, use code FlowZone. If you type FCT in chat right now, we will pick one of you at random. You only need to type it in once. Please don't spam, just type it in once, and one of you will be picked at random. Still absorbing up here. It's doing okay, but you want to be very, very, very careful up here. What's left on the VIX for it to trade into? Let me just zoom out on there. Yeah, VIX coming right back down under that channel. The next level on VIX I'll be looking at is those 16s. Mark these out for the rest of the week while you guys are entering that competition. All right. All right, picking this winner. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Evan Vittorino. Is that right? Vittorino. Evan Vittorino. The winner of the Apex account. So Mr. Slim won the course. Evan won the Apex account. Are you here, Evan? Hey, nice. That's me. All right, same thing, Evan. All I want you to do, please email me info@flowzonetrader.com and just send me a screenshot of you logged in just so I know it's you, it's not someone else. And then I'll sort you out with a free Apex account. All right? Happy days. Congratulations. Congratulations. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. So very, very bullish action today. What I would be looking for the next day, well, like we talked about, if you're going to complete the measured move, those of you who are long, if you're going to complete the measured move, you're going to need to try and get it all the way up to 26,000. I would have locked in most of my profit already for that squeeze into 20 like we talked about. Where, if and where would I be short? Well, this is your range rotation. All right. And if we develop a huge amount of volume here and we leave this volume, doesn't have to be today, this might offer a short down into 700s and beyond. That would be something I'll be looking for the next few days if we leave volume. Otherwise, we're going to keep lifting up into these key levels. All right, we're just going to keep lifting and lifting and lifting and lifting. At the moment, all we've done is build out this. This is like your typical ABCD kind of pattern. All right, this can continue. This can continue. They are very strong on the bid here this morning. The moment they reclaimed, that was extremely aggressive. Kind of hard to get involved in that. I would have loved that kind of move there. This kind of move here that we've done, I would have loved down here. That's like my favorite kind of move to get long on these kind of plays. But there we go. It is what it is. We'll be back tomorrow. Those in Discord, I will pop in this afternoon and we can see what we get. But again, I would just say manage your positions. You can see how we just held 900 like we talked about. Buyers are in control of the market. There is zero reason to be short on this right now, guys. I cannot say it enough. There is zero reason to be short on this right now. This is going to keep lifting until they are done with it. Did I place a trade? Yeah, I had not bad today. So, not bad. There we go. So. And we'll just see if we can get up here. Some of that was overnight, by the way. Should say some of that was made overnight on the big account. And I'll see you guys tomorrow night, AM 9:15, all the way into lunch as always. Please make sure you join me early. Make sure you mark out the key levels off the newsletter. They will come in useful for you this week by the looks of it. All right, peace and love, everyone. Thanks for joining as always. And be kind to each other. Use hard stops. See you tomorrow. Peace out.